The 1992 American League Championship Series is a special presentation of CTV Sports.
It's the Blue Jays and the A's.
And a breaking ball hit deep to right field, close to the line, looking up, and it's gone. Harold Baines has hit a home run to break the tie for the A's.
Go Blue Jays!
Fly ball to left field, and Maldonado going back. Tagging up at second is Weiss. Here's the catch, and the throw coming into third base, and they have him. He's out.
Yes!
And he gets a high fastball driven deep to left, and it's out of here, and Candy Maldonado has given the Blue Jays the lead again.
Go Jays!
And a drive hit to right field. Sierra going back, looking up, and this game is tied. Roberto Alomar with his second home run in as many days.
The A's!
And here's a drive hit deep to right field. And this one is gone. A home run for Ruben Sierra. And the A's lead it 2-0.
Birds and letters of the alphabet. Boy, I love baseball.
We're back in Toronto, and 50,000 plus hope to see the Blue Jays beat the A's and make history and become the first Canadian team ever to move in to baseball's national pastime World Series. It is Game 6 of the American League Championship Series between the Oakland Athletics and the Toronto Blue Jays. The team split their first two games here at Sky Dome. Then the Blue Jays won the first two games in Oakland before the A's, behind Dave Stewart's superb pitching, stayed alive and sent the series back to Sky Dome for Game 6 this afternoon. Hello again, everyone. I'm Dick Stockton, and there should be an enthusiastic crowd today. They were in the first two games, and that could be an asset for the Blue Jays, although, frankly, this is a late arriving crowd in Toronto today. Give you an idea what kind of a close match this has been throughout. Look at these numbers and how close the two teams have been in batting average, in runs and hits, in earned run average. But basically all that really matters right now is the games, favoring the Blue Jays 3-2. Along with my partner Jim Cott, and the big story here is speculation over Cito Gaston's decision to go with a three-man rotation in this series. Who better to talk about it than Jim Cott, who along with Sandy Koufax pitched the 7th game of the 1965 World Series on 2 days rest. And now we're going to see Juan Guzman go with 3 days rest. It did not work for Morris and for David Cone in the previous two games. What about it, partner?
Well, Dick, this subject has been overcooked to the point where it's burnt. I mean, it's a great subject to second-guess managers, but the baseball history books are full of pitchers who came back on short rest and pitched their teams to championships. The only fatigue factor possibly for a pitcher, you feel it a little bit in your legs. You should have better control. As far as arm fatigue, your pitching arm will rust out before it'll wear out. So I don't think it's a factor. It's been overblown.
But they are second-guessing Cito Gaston, and it'll get even worse if they go to a 7th game. What about Mike Moore, who gets the call for the A's today? The biggest winner on the year, had success in the Sky Dome, but the losing pitcher in Game 2.
Well, Mike Moore has pitched very, very well in postseason play, deceptively well. And his job today, I think, keep the A's in the game early. I see today's game as more important in the early innings than any game these two teams have played. Why? The Toronto crowd is anticipating a championship, as is their ball club. If Oakland gets off to an early lead, you quiet the crowd down. You also give the Jays a little psychological. They think about, we may have to play Game 7 tomorrow. That could be a big advantage for Oakland, and Mike Moore pitches very well with a lead.
All right now let's go to the third member of our team, Leslie Visser. Leslie?
Dick, Tony La Russa has made an objective, not emotional decision about his lineup today. He's decided to go with Jerry Brown, who had the hot bat in Game 5, instead of the heart and soul of the Oakland Athletics, Carney Lansford. Brown told me a little while ago that he's excited about this opportunity, that he doesn't guarantee he'll match his 4 hits from Monday, but he'll be battling Guzman. While Lansford, ever the team player, said that he can't argue with the decision. Hey, he said, I've been 3 for 18 at the plate. Ironically, there are strong whispers that Carney Lansford may retire at the end of this season. Now, should the Oakland A's lose today, his career could end on the bench. We'll see if the Oakland A's tie it up when it's the A's and the Jays in Game 6 of the ALCS. We'll be back in just a moment.
I'm standing where your car should be.
A chip in the windshield.
Let's say you're me.
Now, what's your first reaction?
No, let's say I'm you.
I've got to throw the whole car away. No, you don't.
We're gonna go with the broken windshield. No appointment necessary. I just showed up. Hey, at Speedy Auto Glass, a lot of times they can repair rather than replace.
They do everything. I do nothing.
Right, Rick?
I'm not doing anything.
Friendly, professional, broken, fixed, happy. I could go. Done. Simple. Out of here. Guaranteed. Stop me!
We're all going to Debbie's party. Coming? Maybe later. Jeff will be there.
Jeff? Oh.
Come back to life. Discover the freshness of Zest.
With Zest. With Zest.
Soaps leave a film. Zest doesn't. After rinsing, soap film's still there. Zest rinses clean away, so you feel fresher.
Zest brings you back to life. Zest.
Look out, Jeff.
Zest brings you back to life.
That used to be me cleaning the bathroom. I needed a different cleaner for every job. Not one could clean the whole bathroom right. Till now.
New Mr. Clean Bathroom does it all. It clings to dirt till it's clean. Cream leaves film, pine leaves soap scum. Mr. Clean Bathroom leaves only shine. New Mr. Clean Bathroom.
Does it all. Watermarks off chrome. Floor shines too. Brilliant.
New Mr. Clean Bathroom. A brilliant bathroom breakthrough.
Mrs. Warren, showtime! Showtime!
Meet Mrs. Warren, a madam in George Bernard Shaw's classic Mrs. Warren's Profession. October 15th to 28th at Persephone Theater. Call 384-7727.
George! She's too young for you. She's too young for you.
Eaton would be amazed at how women handle the weather these days. With this London Fog trench coat with scarf and detachable lining, Eaton value priced at $199.99. An Eaton exclusive in khaki or navy. So why wait when you can get Eaton value every day?
Oakland A's with the same batting order that won Game 5 for them. Ricky Henderson leading off in left field. Jerry Brown getting the start at third base again. Ruben Sierra in right field. Harold Baines the DH. Mark McGuire batting fifth. Terry Steinbach behind the plate. Willie Wilson in center field hitting seventh. Mike Bordick at shortstop batting eighth. And Lance Blankenship, the second baseman, batting ninth, facing Juan Guzman.
And when Juan Guzman has control of his stuff, fastball, slider, change, he can dominate a lineup as well as any pitcher in the American League. Can be overpowering. That's his line in Game 3. Take a look at the Jays in the field after we see him face Ricky Henderson.
Guzman, who pitched the Blue Jays to their only victory last year in the LCS, losing to Minnesota. He was the victor at the Metrodome in Game 2, and now facing Ricky Henderson. Henderson has been blazing hot since the middle of the third game of the series. Takes a fastball for a called strike. Henderson started 0 for 9, but in his last trips to the plate he has reached 8 times and has scored 5 runs. He's come around from a slow start in this series. He takes the ball, 1-1 the count.
And the approach Ricky will take against Guzman, just as he did against David Cone. He'll try to lay off that hard breaking ball that Guzman will throw low and outside and get the right-hand hitters to chase.
Swing and a miss, 1 ball and 2 strikes. We said it was a late arriving crowd, but they are as vocal as they were in the first 2 games of this series, and a lot higher pitched than they were during the regular season. 1-2 to Ricky Henderson. First batter of the ball game here in Game 6. Out remains a ball and 2 strikes.
I figure since Ricky came out of Monday's game for a pinch runner, he has been looking forward to this at bat since that time, because he knows, you mentioned his numbers in the last couple games, what he can create early in the game by getting on base. So the first at bat in this game, I think, more important than a lot of other games.
He aggravated a hamstring in the field in Oakland and came out of the game for a pinch runner in the 7th inning yesterday, but he's all right as he faces Guzman with the 1-2 count, and it evens at 2 balls and 2 strikes. Henderson, Brown, and Sierra. That was the offense for the Oakland A's in their 6-2 victory to stay alive. And it's popped into the air to center field. And Devon White is there to make the catch. And there's 1 out in the A's first.
Well, let's take a look at the Blue Jays. Along with Devon White, they have Candy Maldonado in left field. White in center. Over in right field, Joe Carter, usual alignment. On the infield, Kelly Gruber plays third. Manny Lee at short. Roberto Alomar is the second baseman, and John Olerud over at first. Pat Borders behind the plate. Same lineup all 6 games for the Blue Jays.
And one of the big heroes for the A's on Monday, Jerry Brown, switch hitter, who was 4 for 4, all singles, 2 runs batted in. Veteran in his first postseason, takes a fastball in tight, 1-0. 1 more hit for Jerry Brown. 5 consecutive hits would tie those 5 players in American League Championship Series history.
All the talk about pitchers coming back on short rest. One of the subtle moves in Game 5 was Tony La Russa replacing Carney Lansford, the veteran, with Brown. You don't hear people second guess moves like that. They just focus in on the pitchers.
Fastball, and it's 2-1. Brown, one of the great role players used by Tony La Russa this year. He noticed that the Indians had moved him around a lot, and they let him go in spring training, so he knew he had a versatile performer on his hands. And the best description for him, he's a heady ball player, said Tony. Foul ball out of play. 2-2 the count to Jerry Brown. 1 out here in the first. He has never been to a 6th game in postseason, but he's looking for a 7th. As the count goes full to Brown, 3-2. On deck is Ruben Sierra. And what a day he had the other day. 3 balls and 2 strikes. And a ground ball hit to the right of Alomar. Makes the play to get Brown, and there are 2 down. Ruben Sierra gave Dave Stewart a big boost early on in the first inning with his 2-run home run off of David Cone Monday in game number 5.
Got a fastball on the inside half of the plate, about the first one he's seen in that zone. Took advantage of it.
Here is Sierra, whose 7 RBIs is high for either club, hitting .368, 7 for 19. Like Jerry Brown, a switch hitter. 2 down, nobody on base. And a call strike to him.
Got to be encouraging to Cito Gaston and Blue Jays fans, because the key to Juan Guzman is throwing strikes early in the game. He's doing that.
And getting out of the first inning. He's ahead of Sierra, 2 strikes. Guzman won his first 6 decisions this year, had a 12-2 record when he suffered stiffness in his shoulder. And then came back after being on the disabled list, finished with a 4-3 record, but pitched a beauty against the Tigers to wrap up the division for the Blue Jays. Two out and 0-2 to Sierra here in the first inning. And he stays alive. Jim, we've talked about how streaks have played a role. The A's had a big streak in the ALCS record until the Blue Jays snapped that. But since the Sky Dome opened, the Oakland A's have won 14 of the 24 games that they've played the Toronto Blue Jays.
And I think what that does for a ball club, when you have a history of that success going into a game, it just makes you feel a little comfortable. Like Mike Moore, from a pitching standpoint, has had success here, a little more confident.
He's had a few of those victories, and a high fly ball hit to center field. Devon White doesn't have to move much in a 1-2-3 inning. So the A's are up and out in the first inning, and the Blue Jays come to bat here at Sky Dome.
Listen. Listen to the sounds. Listen to the sounds of a whole other apple cinnamon Cheerios.
Real apples, whole grain oats, and cinnamon make every O taste as great as it sounds.
Listen to the sounds of a whole other apple cinnamon Cheerios.
You love so much and try so hard, and you have an urgent need to be around your partner, but find that your self-confidence is slipping. You look after your partner and the kids so much, there's nothing left for you. Your needs get missed, and you're left with resentments and anger and hurt. You lie to cover up what's happening in your marriage, and all your attention is focused on pleasing and protecting your partner. This is love you can do without. Learn healthy love.
Cardwell Human Resources.
When I started this company, one of the first places I turned to was the Saskatoon Chamber of Commerce. They provided me with free first-hand advice that I could use towards my business.
We got our business going, and we got some help displaying our products, setting up books, and advertising.
Starting or expanding a small business, call the Saskatoon Chamber of Commerce. They'll provide you with a volunteer business person who can share their knowledge and experience. It's called the Mentorship Program, and it's free.
Hi, everyone. Rod Black with the CTV Sports team along with you for Game 6. The fans already chanting Ricky, Ricky as Ricky Henderson has taken his place in left field. Jays bats to come. We'll be providing highlights, updates, and interviews throughout the day during our sports breaks. We'll see you later. Enjoy the ball game.
Same Blue Jay lineup for each of the 6 games. Devon White, followed by Roberto Alomar, Joe Carter hitting third, Dave Winfield, the DH, John Olerud, Candy Maldonado hitting 6th, Kelly Gruber in the 7th slot, Pat Borders hitting 8th, and Manuel Lee at shortstop batting 9th against right-hander Mike Moore.
Pitched well in game 2, but a loser to David Cone, as you see his pitching line. Fastball, forkball, slider, occasional change. And let's take a look at the A's in the field behind Mike Moore. The way they line up with Henderson, Wilson, Sierra in the outfield, Brown, Bordick, Blankenship, and McGuire in the infield. Steinbach behind the plate.
And Devon White leading off for the Blue Jays. Mike Moore has had Devon White's number throughout his career. First pitch misses, ball 1. White has struck out 20 times in his career against Mike Moore. And hits a high pop fly down the left field line. Ricky Henderson drops the ball. A fair ball, and into second goes Devon White. And that'll be a 2-base error charge to Ricky Henderson for sure.
More than just your average 2-base error. Probably caught running on his heels as an outfielder. That ball will bobble up and down. And Ricky doesn't get the glove closed. And to get the Blue Jays in front of their home crowd, an early break like that could be very, very dangerous.
I would say. And for Ricky Henderson, his 3rd error of this series. And his 5th in LCS history. The Blue Jays have made more errors than the A's. But a critical error on the first batter here for Toronto gives the Jays life, and the dangerous Roberto Alomar, the batter, with a runner in scoring position and nobody out. That could be unsettling for Mike Moore, and that's the last thing he needs facing his lineup on the road today.
Figure you got out number 1 tucked away, and all of a sudden man on second and Alomar in the batter's box. Regroup.
Talk about the taunts that we discussed in other games with Dennis Eckersley. With his relief style, the crowd is chanting Ricky, Ricky, and he can hear every one of them.
He has been their favorite target here in Toronto, as he is in several ballparks. But he loves it. He feeds off that.
What are you going to do? That was his expression. So Alomar, who's been a brilliant hitter for the Jays in this series, check swing foul back. 2 balls and a strike to Robbie Alomar, who has 2 homers and 3 runs batted in. That's what he's done career-wise against Mike Moore, with much success, including 3 doubles. On deck is Joe Carter. Bordick trying to keep White close to second base. Another foul ball at the plate. It's 2-2. 10-game hitting streak alive for Roberto Alomar. Pete Rose had a streak of 15 straight games.
Moore doing a nice job here, pitching Alomar outside, trying to keep him from pulling the ball. But the ability Robbie has is you keep throwing out there, he'll take it to left field.
Whatever you need. And Alomar, in a rare strikeout for him, out number 1 here in the first inning. That's 1 big out for Mike Moore. He's got a heavy hitter coming up. Here are the umpires working today. Drew Coble calling balls and strikes. Don Dinkinger at first. Larry Young at second. Al Clark at third. Down the lines, Derwood Merrill and Joe Brinkman. Here is Joe Carter, who is hitting just 190. All his hits have been singles, and hitless in his last 15 turns at bat against Mike Moore. 1 out. Devon White is at second. No score. Bottom of the first inning. In the dirt, and a good stop by Steinbach. Ball 1.
Ought to be a stat for that, too, for catchers. White's on third without that block. That last strikeout, I think, indicative of Mike Moore's ability. Let's take a look at Terry Steinbach again, blocking that fork ball to keep White at second base. But tucked in behind Darling and Stewart and Welch, doesn't get the publicity, but he's pitched very, very well postseason play.
Blankenship trying to keep White close to second base. By the way, that was the first strikeout by Alomar in this series. Here's the 1-0 pitch to Carter, and he gets a piece of it at the plate, and the count is 1-1. Mike Moore has the 5th lowest earned run average in the LCS, and you talk about how underrated he is. Well, in the last 4 years, he has won as many games as Dave Stewart has on this staff, and 1 fewer than Bob Welch. But you never hear about him. You only hear about Stewart and Welch in the recent history of the A's. Moore falls behind Carter, 2-1.
See some of the swings early in this game. Only natural. I think hitters will be squeezing the bat a little bit the first couple of innings. There's a little tension here.
Rounded foul behind Rich Hacker, the third base coach.
If there's an edge in today's game, you would give it to the Blue Jays with Juan Guzman. The fact that they're back at home, got in a little earlier than the A's did to relax. We've talked about the history of teams that win Game 6 going to 7. So critical, I think, that the Blue Jays win this game, that they have the edge here.
Fly ball hit deep to center field. Willie Wilson going way back. Willie Wilson leaps, and it's gone. It's a home run for Joe Carter. 2-0 in favor of the Blue Jays, and Joe Carter breaks the drought after 4 singles and 21 times at bat. He hits a mammoth 2-run homer to give the Jays the lead.
Joe Carter might be saying, we've had great balance the first 5 games, but I'll drive the bus today. He's driven it for quite a bit of the year.
34 homers during the regular season. It's 2-0 in favor of Toronto, and here is Dave Winfield. Ball 1 as that pitch bounced in front of the plate and went all the way back.
Indication of how relaxed the Blue Jay ball club was your first peek at their lineup card this morning in the clubhouse. They put up a mock lineup to kind of loosen everybody up.
It did not include Devon White, who had a problem with an automobile accident. He was unhurt yesterday, and they had Alfredo Griffin leading off and Derek Bell in center field. So this was a loose club early on. You're right. And they've carried it into this first inning. 2-0 to Winfield.
Pat Borders sitting in Cito Gaston's office said, I'm not playing today, and Cito was not in on the gag, or he would have carried it a little longer. I think that was Dave Winfield, some of the veteran players' way of trying to relax this ball club going into this game.
Moore falls behind Dave Winfield. 3 balls and no strikes. 1 out. A 2-base error by Ricky Henderson on a fly ball down the line by Devon White has set up the tone of this inning, and Joe Carter with 1 out with a home run over the center field fence. Jays needing a victory to get into the World Series, and there's a strike on the slider. 3-1 to Winfield.
I guarantee you right now, Tony La Russa is looking out at Mike Moore saying, just keep it together, keep the wheels on, hold it there. About a 2-run game, don't let it get away early.
Moore, 35-year-old veteran from Eakley, Oklahoma, facing the 41-year-old Dave Winfield. And a bounding ball to the right side. Blankenship handles it, and they were 2 down.
Take a look at the pitching sequence to Joe Carter, who handles the ball on the inside part of the plate rather well. The first couple of ball and a strike. And that one up and in. Fouls that one off, and he gets one right in the joy spot, about thigh high inside half of the plate.
Here is John Olerud with 2 down, and the base is clear. Ball 1 to Olerud, who was hitless in 3 trips against Mike Moore in the second game of the series. He's had a quiet but steady LCS. And he slaps this to Blankenship, and that should do it in the first inning. But an error and a 2-run homer by Joe Carter. One of those runs was unearned, but it's 2-0 Toronto after 1.
It's always been easy finding low prices at Wilco. Now it's even easier. Just look for the thick price pick signs during our full scale sale for great values like these.
Stock up and save on basics while Wilco is taking a basic $2 off. Hanes 3-pack socks for men and women now just $4.99.
Uh-oh.
Mirror, mirror on the wall, who's the fairest of them all? Wilco. This twist and flip mirror is just $7.99.
So for great low prices at Wilco, just look for these signs.
This Wednesday's Lotto 649 jackpot is $5 million. Just imagine the freedom.
It's the freedom to do what you want to do. Just imagine. Oh, yeah. It's the freedom.
Wednesday's Lotto 649 jackpot is $5 million. Imagine the freedom.
Since Audio Warehouse opened in 1964, technology has changed drastically. If your TV hasn't, step into the 21st century at Audio Warehouse. Audio Warehouse is committed to bringing you only the most respected names in television. Audio Warehouse is excited to present the full line of Panasonic TVs, including the incredible Panasonic Gao. See for yourself why Panasonic is just slightly ahead of our time at Audio Warehouse. Audio Warehouse, making TV worth watching since 1964.
Do you crave the world's greatest hamburger? World's greatest. Come to Fuddruckers and do it yourself. At Fuddruckers, you start with a fresh ground half-pound hamburger. Then you pile on the toppings. Fuddruckers. Build your own. So who makes the world's greatest hamburgers? Fuddruckers and you.
Labatt presents the ALCS on CTV. Sponsored by Labatt Blue. Honest and true. You bet it's blue.
Back at Skydome, where the Jays are leading 2-0. When the Oakland A's just came off the field, Tony La Russa ran to the top of the steps of the dugout. He was the first one to greet Ricky Henderson. He said, "Ricky, shake it off. Let's go." Dick?
All right, Leslie. And the A's coming up in the second inning. It'll be Baines, McGuire, and Steinbach against Juan Guzman. There was that error by Henderson in left field. One of the 2 runs unearned. And let's see how the A's respond. Ball 1 to Baines, who's had a terrific series. Those are his numbers, including the home run that won Game 1 in the 9th inning here at Skydome. Way out in front of that one, and it evens the count at 1-1.
That comment by Tony La Russa, and that's part of managing. Maybe more of an important part than we give credit for, is to kind of read the mood of your ball club. And when a team comes in, make sure that nobody sits on the bench and sits back and says, "What happened?" Get right back into it.
Hit in the air to center field. Devon White, who made 2 putouts in the first inning, makes 1 here. And there's 1 gone in the second inning. Here's Mark McGuire, who's still looking for his first hit career-wise against Guzman. He's 0 for 10, has been hit by pitches twice, including once the last time these teams met. McGuire hitting 125 with a homer and 2 runs batted in. Strike 1 to McGuire. Before today, McGuire and Joe Carter have been quiet at bat most of the series, certainly not giving their teams the long ball that they provided during the regular year. McGuire already has a home run, and Carter, of course, put the Jays in front of him. Fastball on the inside corner. 1 ball and 2 strikes to Mark McGuire. The count at 2-2. They play McGuire deep, both in the infield and outfield. Ground ball to third base to Kelly Gruber, and there's 2 down. The Blue Jays really have problems in the field against the A's at Oakland Coliseum. A lot more confident with the true bounce here on the natural artificial turf.
Take a look at that motion of Juan Guzman and the leg drive and the down action in this slider. A lot of pitchers' sliders will go away from the hitter, but you can see the spin on that one, and it goes straight down, almost like a forkball. And you mentioned the improved defense. You get a few ground balls off pitches like that.
Terry Steinbach, the hitter, and he takes ball 1, but you can see how confident the Blue Jays were in the field because they're back on that artificial turf. Steinbach, Wilson, and Bordick. They've been in a slump lately. 1-1 to Terry. For those purists who don't like rooftop stadiums and domes, if this game were played without a roof, it would be raining, 47 degrees outside, and winds up to 20 miles per hour. So this game might not have been played if it weren't for the roof here at Skydome, which is retractable.
One of the advantages. Only one.
And one of the purists right by me, I might add. On the corner, Guzman has been effective hitting that inside corner. against both McGuire and Steinbach, and the count is even at 2-2.
You can see the A's trying to work deep counts from Guzman, as Steinbach is doing here, hoping they can get some 3-1, 2-0s. But he's been consistently in the strike zone.
Fouls off a fastball, and good velocity for Juan Guzman thus far. In his victory over the Minnesota Twins last year, the only win by the Jays in the LCS, he worked 5 2/3 innings. He gave up 4 hits and got credit for the victory. He pitched 6 innings and getting credit for the win in game 3. Swing and a miss, and Steinbach goes down, and Juan Guzman has retired the first 6 batters he's faced. So in the middle of the second inning, it's 2-0 Blue Jays.
Hold that tiger, hold that tiger, hold that tiger, hold that tiger.
Yes, the SO Tiger's back. Back to remind you that our long-standing commitment to service still holds true today. Whether it's full serve or self-serve, we'll do our best to get you on your way as fast as we can. At SO, giving you good service is how we earn our stripes.
You're on your way.
It's come to my attention that our competitors have a new minivan. Our sources say it's different from any other minivan, including ours. Sliding rear seat, standard anti-lock brakes, drives like a car. Who would want a minivan that drives like a car? Certainly not anyone who works for me.
The new Villager, the only car in its class. Quality is job one. It's working.
When Raymond Otwell of Whitehorse heard about MotoMaster's new long life antifreeze, he was a bit skeptical. After all, with an amazing new formula guaranteed for 4 years or 100,000 kilometers, that's enough to go around the world more than twice. Undaunted, he set out to test it himself. 100,000 kilometers later, Mr. Otwell came to 2 conclusions. You can't buy a better antifreeze than MotoMaster Long Life, and there really is no place like home. MotoMaster, exclusively at Canadian Tire.
Have you ever thought about wearing shoes?
Game 7 of the National League Series tonight between the Pirates, who have battled back from a 3-1 deficit, and the Braves from Atlanta. Our coverage begins at 8 o'clock with Pat O'Brien, Doug Drabeck, and John Smoltz, the starting pitchers. They should have listened to you and taken out Wakefield and used him tonight as well.
Well, we kidded about that.
Kelly Gruber leading off, and he takes a call strike from Mike Moore.
Jim Leland doesn't kid about it. And realistically, what better man for him to go to the mound than Doug Drabeck? Tim Wakefield did his job. Not a bad man to have, and Drabeck going to game 7.
There's the 0-1 to Maldonado, and it's fouled out of play. Maldonado hitting .222 with 1 homer and 3 runs batted in. He had 2 big games for the Blue Jays in Oakland. Foul tip into Steinbach's glove, and Maldonado is called out on strikes. So Mike Moore has his 2nd strikeout of the game, and there's 1 gone in the 2nd.
Nothing wrong with Mike Moore's stuff today. Strikes out Rami Alomar, and now comes back with a good fastball to Maldonado. Just the drop fly ball and the 2-2 fastball to Carter.
Kelly Gruber has struggled at the plate, but he's been outstanding defensively at 3rd. 1-0 the count to Kelly. There's a changeup. Gruber misses, and it's 1-1. Gruber hit a 2-run homer in the 5th inning off of Mike Moore in the 2nd game of the series, and won the fans' hearts again after being the man they booed most of the season. He had missed 50 games with injury, but Gruber never really got on track this year after a great season 2 years ago. But he was a hero here after his 2-run home run that sparked the Blue Jays victory to even the series. There's the 1-2 pitch, and Gruber strikes out. So Moore has fanned Maldonado and Gruber to start the 2nd inning.
Toronto starts looking at pitches like this, they're going to say, we may be happy we got those 2 runs early. I mean, Mike Moore's stuff is exceptionally sharp early in the game. You see Gruber chase that pitch. Yeah, he's back to his old self. Gruber, you see all the dirt up on the batting helmet. That's what you thought of when you thought of Kelly Gruber, a good old hardball player.
I remember that cork smudged all over his face in that 11-inning thriller that we had in Oakland. Pat Borders lines a base hit on the first pitch to left field. That's the 2nd hit for the Jays and a 2-out base run.
One of the switches in this series has been the balance of the Blue Jays lineup, and the A's have gotten production from about 3 or 4 guys. And also, we thought Toronto had the edge in starting pitching up till this game. Oakland starters had really pitched better than the Blue Jays starters.
We looked at those numbers at the start with earned run average, batting average, and runs scored. Blue Jays have had the power, and the A's have had the edge on the bases. As you mentioned, starting pitching has been more effective for Oakland. The A's trail here by a score of 2-0, and the count to Manny Lee is 1 ball and no strikes, 2 out and a runner on. Two and 0 now to lead the number 9 hitter. 1 of 3 switch hitters in the Blue Jays lineup. A's also have 3 who can bat from both sides. On the corner, 2-1. Mike Moore, 17 wins, the leading winner on the A's staff this year. He's won that many each of the last 2 years. Trying to get the A's into Game 7. And a line drive, base hit to left field. Stopping at second is Pat Borders. So the bottom of the Blue Jay order going to work after 2 are out here in the 2nd inning. And right now, let's check in with Leslie Visser. Leslie?
Dick, yesterday Devon White ran into a nasty curve on his day off. He and his wife Colleen were passengers in a Mercedes being test-driven that slipped out of control and smashed into a concrete pole. This morning, Devon and his wife went to see the team orthopedic surgeon. They complained of slight stiffness in their neck. He got a full rub down from trainer Tommy Craig. He says he feels fine. Dick.
All right, Leslie, and of course, Cito Gaston, who knows about back problems, says normally it's 2 days later you start to feel it.
And now that there is no serious injury and you can laugh about it, his teammates said we're accusing him of being the test dummy they use in those cars. That's why Devon White was in there. That's the clubhouse humor you put up with among the boys.
Borders is at second, Lee the runner at first with 2 outs. And the pitch is low, and of course that false lineup card that was put up there to give White the impression that he would not be in the lineup today. 1 ball and 1 strike to Devon White. Ground ball to the left side, backhanded by Bordick. The force in time. And Manny Lee is unhappy with that call as he is arguing with Larry Young, the second base umpire, but he's out on a force play. Another look.
Mike Bordick with a nice play in the hole, and in Larry Young's mind just gets Manny Lee.
It is still 2-0 Jays as we go to the 3rd.
Since Audio Warehouse opened in 1964, technology has changed drastically. If your TV hasn't, step into the 21st century at Audio Warehouse. Audio Warehouse is committed to bringing you only the most respected names in television. Names like Sanyo. The Sanyo Design 2000 series is nothing less than state-of-the-art. From 21 to 33 inches, experience the Sanyo Design 2000 series today at Audio Warehouse. Audio Warehouse, making TV worth watching since 1964.
The STN Television Network invites you to watch and win. Starting next week, look for this poster at various retailers in your area. Fill out an entry form and watch to win. If your name appears on the screen during one of these shows, call in and win the prize of the day from Panasonic. A new winner every day, a new contest every week, leading up to the grand prize draw for this 1993 Oldsmobile 88 Royale. So remember to enter, watch, and win with the STN Television Network.
There is a country that is recognized all over the world for its generosity and compassion. That country is Canada. For many, Canadian peacekeepers are a living proof of that generosity. Right now, there are over 2,000 Canadian peacekeepers serving in United Nations missions all over the globe, something they have been doing since 1947. Drawn from every province and territory, our peacekeepers have come to be recognized for many qualities, but one in particular, their dedication in working through problems and bringing people together. Canadians never lose their understanding and respect for people. It is a part of what it means to be a Canadian. It's in all of us.
ALCS on CTV. Sponsored by your local bottler of Coca-Cola Classic, the official soft drink of Major League Baseball.
And the ball is right there. Of course, from that angle, it's difficult to tell whether Lee's foot was actually on the bag, but that's how close that play was, and a tough decision for Larry Young. And Mike Bordick, again, has made some outstanding plays in this series.
He has been the defensive star for the A's without question, and a very important force out with Alomar coming up next. Blue Jays might have been in a position to open this one up. And Mike Bordick will be the on-deck hitter as Willie Wilson steps in against Juan Guzman, who has retired the first 6 batters. Wilson has been a big test for Juan Guzman in the past. He was 5 for 7 coming into the series, and in the first game had 2 singles and a walk and a stolen base. So 7 for 9. His career mark against Juan Guzman. 1 ball and 1 strike to Willie. Two and 1.
See, the A's again are not going to get over anxious, even though they're down a couple. Wilson with a very deliberate, patient approach against Guzman. Make him throw some pitches.
Fastball, 2 balls and 2 strikes. As we mentioned, Guzman is working with 3 days rest. He worked once this year with 3 days rest. In the final months of the season, he went 7 innings in a victory over the Indians. Struck out only 1, though, and that was the fewest times he struck out a batter all year. Wilson, strike 3. The ball gets away from Borders, and the throw to first is not in time. And this after Willie Wilson had hesitated at home plate before he ran down to first on the drop 3rd strike.
Willie Wilson hesitated, and so did Pat Borders. Again, there's that slider that just goes straight down. I think Borders felt he had it in his web. He hesitated, chased it to the screen. By the time he got it to Olerud, Willie Wilson ties that play. Break for the A's.
First base runner for Oakland, and it comes here in the 3rd inning with nobody out. And Mike Bordick stepping up. As well as Bordick has played in the field for the A's, he has struggled big time at the plate. Only 1 for 17. So Wilson is aboard. That was a strikeout and a pass ball charged to Pat Borders. Strike one. The count to Bordick.
You can see Mike Bordick has struggled with the bat. And in this situation, Juan Guzman, not a particularly good fielder. Ideal situation when you're not swinging well is drop down a bunt. Be very timely right here.
Bordick has struck out 6 times in 12 plate appearances against Guzman. So that really would be a good idea for him here. He hasn't had much success against the fastball or the slider.
When you have Olerud holding Wilson at first, you have a lot of territory over there between Guzman and first base.
There you see the infield. Willie Wilson has been successful on all 6 of his stolen base attempts in this series. Bordick swings and misses 0-2. The number 9 hitter Lance Blankenship waits on deck for the A's. Blue Jays lead 2-0. The A's are batting in the 3rd inning. In game 6 of this series, Toronto leading 3-2.
A's would like to see a few more of those. 0-2 count. Got a 2-run lead. Cito Gaston and Galen Cisco, the pitching coach, I'm sure would prefer Guzman to just zone in on the hitter, not worry too much about the base runner.
Over first, we have not seen Wilson get that right foot onto the carpet. That's when you know that the base runner has really extended his lead at first base.
He's not going to take any chances right here. Down 2 runs.
And a called strike 3. Mike Bordick goes down. And that is the 3rd straight strikeout by Juan Guzman. 1 out. Wilson reached on the pass ball, and here's that pitch again.
Mind on pitching, Juan Guzman, and pinpoint control. The Blue Jays will tell you that as long as he has that tunnel vision and looks right down at Pat Borders, he's as tough as anyone. When he gets into problems is when he starts to think about how far am I striding, where's my arm, think mechanics and forget about pitching. And he hasn't done it today, and that's what they keep an eye on with Guzman.
1 out. Wilson still the base runner, and Lance Blankenship the hitter. There was the pitch out. Wilson wasn't going. 1-0 the count.
Surprised to see that again with the 2-run lead. Not that you want to be passive, but with the number 9 hitter up there and the stuff that Guzman has, and he is subject to lose his control, you just make him a little more vulnerable to walking the number 9 hitter with Ricky Henderson up next. So it's a high risk play for Toronto. Maybe Gene Tennis felt that he had the Oakland Steel sign. Remember the other day we talked about pitching as if there were no one on base. To me, if I'm Juan Guzman, that's what I'm doing right now. I don't want to pay too much attention to that guy. Keep the rhythm of this game going your way. You've got it right now. Don't lose it.
You don't want to lose Blankenship with Henderson coming up next. He bluffs going, and a snap throw to first, and Wilson gets back. 1 ball and 1 strike to Lance Blankenship. Rene Latchman, the 3rd base coach, and he hopes to hear from one of the 2 teams that have interviewed him, the Texas Rangers or the Florida Marlins, for a possible managerial job. Right now he's concentrating on coaching 3rd base and getting the A's back in this game. They have a base runner at first with 1 out, 1-1 the count. Guzman continues to spend a lot of time thinking of Willie Wilson over there at first. 2 balls and 1 strike. Willie Wilson in outstanding company when you consider consecutive seasons with 20 steals. Willie Wilson, who was part of the Kansas City Royals comeback against the Blue Jays back in '85. They trailed 3-1 in that series, were victorious, and then after trailing the St. Louis Cardinals in the World Series, won 3 games to win the series that year, and Willie was part of that club. 2 balls and 1 strike to Blankenship. And there goes Wilson, and the pitch is taken for a ball. The throw not in time, and Wilson has his 7th stolen base of this series in 7 tries. So the old man can still get up and down the baselines, and now the A's have a runner in scoring position.
Well-timed jump by Willie Wilson, and again, it's not the stolen base that's going to do any damage, in my opinion, to Toronto, but the fact that Juan Guzman's pitch to the plate, he's now 3-1 on Blankenship. You can give up the stolen base, but get the hitter out.
And the top of the order, and Ricky Henderson on deck. Wilson has his lead. Both Lee and Alomar playing close enough to keep him near the bag. Ball 4, so he loses Blankenship. And that is the first walk issued by Juan Guzman, and the A's now run with runners at first and second and 1 out, and a chance for Ricky Henderson to redeem himself. He dropped a fly ball by Devon White, who led off the first inning for the Jays down the left field line, and he came around and scored in front of Joe Carter's big home run. 2-0. The Jays lead, and the A's trying to fight back here in the 3rd.
Quick trot out to the mound by Robbie Alomar to calm Juan Guzman down and probably encourage him to get his focus back in on the hitter. And watch this at bat by Henderson. I think he'll work Guzman the way he steps out of the box and tries to play with the mind of a pitcher, which could be a very important juncture in this game right now for the A's to take advantage of the apparent strikeout. Wilson getting on.
Henderson is 2 for 12 lifetime against Guzman. A's with an opportunity here in the 3rd inning. Game 6. Ball 1 up and in. Juan Guzman could give Dave Stewart a run for his money with that menacing stare to the batter.
He's got to get a few more postseason wins before he can get in Stu's class, but you could see the intensity and concentration in those eyes.
No one's in Stu's club. On the corner.
In fact, if Oakland were to come back, talking about Dave Stewart, if they were to come back and win, I don't care if one of their hitters goes 5 for 5 and knocks in 5. For me, he's the MVP for what he's done to get that team in position to maybe win this thing.
And go all the way and give a much maligned bullpen a rest coming into this game. Guzman steps off. Wilson, the runner at second base, and Lance Blankenship is on at first. 2-0. The Jays lead. We're in the 3rd inning. That's a fastball and fouls it back on the screen. Guzman is ahead of Henderson. A ball and 2 strikes. Vocal crowd with a rhythmic chant. Guzman trying to dispose of Ricky Henderson here. And time is called. And Blankenship was running on the pitch. Really interesting here that time was called by Henderson, and the A's had a play on. What happens now, Jim?
Let's take a look at Willie Wilson trying to get the Blankenship read a sign. Wilson a little late getting started, and to the benefit of Toronto on that play, Juan Guzman took so much time that Ricky Henderson and Drew Coble, the home plate umpire. Henderson asked for time, stepped out.
If there's such a thing as bad timing on a timeout, that might have been an instance. See what they do here. Runners do not go, and Henderson fouls it back to stay alive.
But Tony La Russa is very adept at, and many managers are, is watching the pitching pattern. And with that hard slider down and away, if he can guess that that's when Guzman is going to throw that, very difficult for Borders to handle, that's when he'll start the runners.
This is what he calls pushing the game. And he gets Henderson. Ricky Henderson strikes out, and there are 2 down.
He has come back and reached base on several occasions, but as you look at this swing, the one thing that Ricky says is bothering him with the neck and back injuries, he's just feeling for the ball. He's not able to really drive and swing at the ball like he can when he's 100% healthy.
Looked like a lunge on that pitch. So a big second out for Guzman, and here is Jerry Brown, who bounced out his first time up. Juan Guzman has a chance to get 4 strikeouts in 1 inning. A rarity, and starts off Brown with a fastball away, 1-0. Wilson reached on the pass ball by Borders after striking out. Then Bordick was called out on strikes. And then Ricky Henderson just fanned. 1-0 to Brown. Brown won't be easy. He's a pesky hitter at the plate. That pitch is up 2-0.
And it was a big strikeout in getting Ricky Henderson, but this out even bigger because the part of the lineup for Oakland that's been doing the damage, the guy in the batter's box and the one in the on-deck circle.
Ricky Henderson looking to redeem himself still in this game after that error in the first inning. There's a strike to Brown, and it's 2-1 to Jerry. Coming off a 4-hit game Monday afternoon. Tony La Russa deciding to play Brown in place of Carney Lansford. Not 100% physically, but hard to sit Brown after the game he had. And he pops it up. Manny Lee wants it, and that'll do it. It is still 2-0 in favor of the Blue Jays, and we'll return to Skydome after this word from your local station.
Something new is happening at Nutrisystem. From food to counseling, it's a whole new approach.
There are whole new foods that you couldn't get before. You're not missing out on anything.
The counselors are very nice.
We're not the diet police. We want you to be in control. Nutrisystem is very individualized.
I think life is easier when you have a plan that works.
That is new. That is brand new.
Call Nutrisystem now and lose all the weight you want for only $129. Call 1-800-321-THIN.
I can't afford to be any more sluggish than I am. So when I have a cold, I don't take something that will slow me down. I take Sudafed instead.
Sudafed relieves your cold symptoms, and it's the family of cold products that won't make you drowsy.
Which is pretty important when it's escargot season.
Don't slow down. Take Sudafed instead.
Saturn is now 1 year old in Canada, so we're having a birthday bash.
Saturn is tops in its price range, according to the J.D. Power's Customer Satisfaction Survey.
That must be why in the U.S., Saturn is far and away the best-selling car per outlet.
Only Saturn offers you your full money back in the first 30 days or 2,500 kilometers if you're not happy with the car. Sherwood Saturn Saw by Zuzu Birthday Bash at the Sherwood Auto Mall on 8th Street East.
What about my birthday, Dad?
There's a new store in town. Toys R Us is its name. Filled with toys for girls and boys and every kind of game. There's a new store in town. A magical store. A ton of fun for everyone, so come and explore. The choices are so big, big, big. The prices are so low. Whoa, come in, have a blast. We're open at last. The brand new Toys R Us in town.
Grand opening this Saturday in Saskatoon.
2-0 in favor of the Blue Jays as Toronto comes to bat in the bottom of the third inning. Alomar, Carter, and Winfield, the 2-3-4 hitters. It's the way it's been throughout the entire series for Cito Gaston, and Alomar hits a line drive and a base hit and a barehanded stab by Wilson, and he will hold Alomar to a single. Outstanding play by Willie Wilson in center field, cutting off an extra base hit with his bare hand. Alomar would have had a sure double.
Very timely for Toronto coming out of that last inning with Guzman getting out of it. But look at the play by Willie Wilson. I mean, that's a double and maybe a triple. And Wilson alertly barehands it, gets back into the infield, and keeps that double play in order.
So Alomar now has hit in all 11 LCS games in which he has played. Leadoff man aboard here in the third inning, and here is Joe Carter, who hit his first home run of the series over the center field fence, his first time up, more than 400 feet away, and he takes ball one from Mike Moore. Alomar has been successful on all three of his stolen base attempts. Jays leading 2-0. Throw over to keep Roberto close. Carter had been hitless in his last 15 times up before that home run off of Moore in the first inning.
We mentioned the last inning, Tony La Russa in a position where he needs to push. He wants to push and get back in the game, maybe take a few chances, and here's an opportunity for the Blue Jays to push early and expand that lead.
And Alomar is off, and the pitch is taken for a ball. The throw to second, not in time. Cito Gaston pushing it, and Robbie Alomar is in with his fourth stolen base of the series.
Looked like a breaking ball, and Steinbach had to handle it backhanded. The throw is right there. But Alomar, with a good jump off Moore, gets in with that head-first slide just ahead of the tag.
Not much Blankenship could do. Count is 1-1 to Joe Carter, and the Jays, leading 2-0, have another runner in scoring position. Nobody out in the third inning. Blankenship running over to keep him close, and a high drive deep to left field, and just foul. Whoa. That one was hit even farther, I think, than his one to center field in the first inning. That was into the mezzanine.
Joe Carter, I think you called a home run like this about 17 years ago. He was trying to use a little body English and keep that fair. That could have really done some damage. Watch Carter pull for this baby to stay fair.
He took a page out of Carlton Fisk's book.
Nice rhythm. Nice doing the electric slide.
Is that what it's called?
Yeah.
1-2 grounded, and Rich Hacker has to do a little jitterbugging of his own at third base to get away from that snake.
Managers will tell you each game has a rhythm, and it's usually set by the starting pitcher. And what Guzman did by getting out of that last inning and get Toronto in put them in a position right now to open up a little bit of a lead and make it very difficult for Oakland.
Two strikes to Carter. Could be the same scenario to what we had on Monday when the A's, with Sierra hitting the home run in the first inning, gave Dave Stewart some confidence. Knew one pitch wouldn't be a big mistake for him, and the Jays are doing the same thing for Juan Guzman. bluff to second. Blankenship had been standing on the bag, and Alomar gets back.
With Carter being a pull hitter, Blankenship can stand right there. Usually when Alomar steals third, it's early in the count. It's 2-2 now, so not quite as apt to try to do it, especially with nobody out.
Carter swings and misses for strike 3. So Mike Moore strikes out Carter. His 4th strikeout of the game as Joe Carter gets a hand coming back to the dugout. He hit that big 2-run home run in the 1st inning, and there's 1 away in the 3rd.
Now Alomar would be much more of a threat. With 1 out, he'd love to get to third base. Winfield at the plate. Van Brown and Bordick will be playing deep.
Winfield's ground out was to Blankenship at second base. They're going to walk Winfield with first base open and pitch to the left-handed hitting John Olerud.
I think that's a look at Winfield's numbers against Moore that's dictating this for Tony La Russa. Walking a right-hand hitter to get to a left-hand hitter, but Winfield's had tremendous success against Moore. This is a 9th inning move in the 3rd inning.
Winfield is hitting .420 against Mike Moore and an on-base percentage of .569. So you look at the numbers, and that's where the percentages of lefty-righty are not as critical as what Winfield has done against Moore in the past.
And I think also an indication of how important Tony La Russa thinks it is to keep this game 2-0. Try to get a ground ball right here.
So Tony La Russa makes a decision, and John Olerud could cross them up. He bounced out his first time up. Runners at first and second, 1 out. Now Bordick trying to keep Alomar close to second, and the first pitch is in for a called strike. Alomar waved around, will score, and Winfield will be held at third, and Alomar will stop at second base. It is a ground rule double. A fan touched the ball into the right field corner, but it's a 2-bagger for Olerud, who crosses up La Russa's strategy, and it's now 3-0 in favor of Toronto.
Again, tucked in that 5th spot behind Winfield. Olerud has come up with so many big hits. You see how close that ball was, and hopped immediately into the stands. And that keeps Winfield at third base. Blue Jays would have added a run.
So it's 3-0 and 5 hits in 2 1/3 innings off of Mike Moore, and the A's bring their infield in with runners at second and third. Maldonado struck out his first time up. Play him around to the left in the outfield, and the first pitch low, ball 1.
Again, La Russa might be tempted to walk Maldonado to load the bases, but look at what Gruber did against Moore in game 2, and that's probably affecting his decision right here.
Blue Jays trying to break this one up early in what could be the deciding game of the LCS. Jeff Parrott is up and beginning to throw for the A's.
Normally don't see him till about the 7th. Can't wait that long today.
And a drive hit deep to center field. Wilson going back, looking up. It's gone. 6-0.
Nothing to add to that. I think what you saw tells the story here in Toronto. Nice bell-tie fastball to Maldonado.
And the second home run of the series for Maldonado. It is 6-0 in the third inning. And perhaps the game's tone was set. The opening batter for the Blue Jays in the bottom of the first. Henderson dropped the fly ball down the line. Carter hit a 2-run homer. 2 runs scored, 4 more here in the third. And the big difference in the past 2 years has been the Blue Jays' ability to produce down the line in their batting order. As Gruber fouls off the first pitch.
Again, very fitting for Cito Gaston to see something like that happen, because it's very popular to bash Gaston for every decision he makes. And one early in the year was to not play Derek Bell, but go with the veteran Maldonado, and it has paid off.
Off the end of the bat, McGuire feeds Moore. Second out here in the third inning. 2 long home runs off of Mike Moore for Candy Maldonado. 424 feet after Joe Carter hit one. 405 feet to straightaway center in the first inning. 6 runs on 6 hits for the Jays against Mike Moore. And with 2 out and the bases empty, Pat Borders up. He singled with 2 down last inning. This crowd is already in a festive mood, and who can blame them? Ball 1 to Borders.
Boy, can you imagine if it stays like this and you get into the 7th or 8th inning, the buildup you're going to see for as long as these people have waited, not just the people, but the guys in that dugout.
Line drive, base hit over Bordick, and Borders is 2 for 2. And it's just not Mike Moore's day.
One of the toughest times right now to get hitters out. Toronto has 6 marks on the board, loosens everybody up a little bit, free swinging, and time to make a change.
Tony La Russa had never managed into a 6th game of postseason. This is his first experience. And Mike Moore relieved, replaced by Jeff Parrott. And Jim and I will return to Sky Dome in just a moment. This was the big blow.
Buying products made in Saskatchewan keeps your grocery dollars right here in the province, while creating jobs and encouraging investment. Just look for this symbol. Made in Saskatchewan. Buy it. Try it.
I'm standing where your car should be. A chip in the windshield. Let's say you're me. Now, what's your first reaction? No, let's say I'm you. I've got to throw the whole car away. No, you don't. We're going to go with the broken windshield. No appointment necessary. I just showed up. Hey, at Speedy Auto Glass, a lot of times they can repair rather than replace. They do everything. I do nothing. Right, Rick? I'm not doing anything. Friendly, professional, broken, fixed, happy. I could go. Done. Simple. Out of here. Guaranteed. Stop me!
I've got problems. I'm sick, and I'm out of cold medicine, and tissues, and trashy novels.
I've used the last of it, you know what. And there's no more cat food. What else could go wrong? No light bulbs.
I've been pharma-saved.
I was saved. Pharma-saved. I was pharma-saved, all right.
Thanks, Dave.
I used to love taking risks. I tried anything once. One party, I'd had a lot to drink. Some guy handed me a needle. I figured whatever happens, I'll handle it. I got more than I could handle. I got AIDS.
Take charge. Take care. Don't share needles for drugs or steroids.
I figured it couldn't happen to me.
Regardless of where we shop, food product labels influence our purchasing habits. But there's one symbol that guarantees you're always getting quality and good value. Made in Saskatchewan. Buy it. Try it.
And he's coming in here in the third inning with 2 outs and Pat Borders on at first base and Manny Lee the hitter.
Parrott, who has done such a good job for Oakland during the year with those 9 wins in the setup role, and basically right now in the stop the bleeding role.
First pitch to Lee is a strike. He singled to the opposite field his first time up. He is the 8th man to bat here in the third inning. It all started with Roberto Alomar with a single and a stolen base. A's chose to walk Dave Winfield intentionally and pitched to John Olerud, who delivered a big double. And the count is 1-1. We are 1 home run away from tying the LCS record for both teams, but the Blue Jays' 10 home runs is the most ever by one team in any league championship series. 2-1 to lead.
And an indication of how this team has improved as far as scoring runs. The home run power, the addition of Dave Winfield, and more pop down at the bottom of the lineup from Maldonado to go along with Carter.
Down the left field line, but there is Ricky Henderson, and he squeezes this one to retire the side. 4 runs come across, 3 on Candy Maldonado's home run, and the Blue Jays are in command after 3.
Both these cakes look absolutely delicious.
Sure do.
The only difference is that my cake is made with Crisco all-vegetable shortening and yours with butter.
So?
Because Crisco's all-vegetable, my cake has 45% less saturated fat than your cake made with butter.
May I?
Help yourself. With Crisco, cakes are higher, lighter.
Good. And this cake has 45% less saturated fat than the one I made with butter?
Isn't it time you changed to Crisco?
I love how clean and dry Always Maxis are, but I want to feel fresh any day. So I choose Always Panty Liners with Dry Weave. Unlike other liners, Always stays so clean and dry on top, baby powder blows away, thanks to the Dry Weave top sheet. So for any day freshness, I choose a liner that's so clean and dry, it lets me feel morning fresh.
Always Panty Liners with the same Dry Weave top sheet as Always Maxis. Because every woman has a system, Always with Dry Weave makes it cleaner and drier.
Fergie Oliver here for Blue Jays Baseball and the Blue Jays Special from Pizza Hut. Call Pizza Hut right now and order the Blue Jays Special. It's a Major League offer. You get 2 12-inch medium pizzas with any 2 toppings, a 2-liter bottle of Pepsi or Diet Pepsi, delivery, taxes, deposit, all included, just $19.99. What a steal! But hurry and catch it or you're out. Enjoy tonight's game with the Blue Jays Special from Pizza Hut.
Pizza Hut and nothing but.
Hold it, back it up, forward. Jeez, I'm starting to sound a lot like Howie. What are these 2 guys wagering on tonight's Sports Select games? You don't have to be a rocket surgeon to know who's who. When you make a Sports Select wager, you become part of the battle. And when you get a game winner... Oh, look at that guy. Hey, somebody tell that other guy to get a life. Blue, tell him to get into the game. Blue knows a winner.
Play pro line and over-under.
Joe Carter began the assault with a 2-run homer in the first inning. His first homer of the series. The Blue Jays then scored 4 in the third. Maldonado's 3-run blow, and Guzman has sailed along, has struck out 4 batters. Ruben Sierra, Harold Baines, and Mark McGuire facing Juan Guzman in the top of the 4th inning. Sierra skied to Devon White his first time up. First pitch is a strike on a slider. 0-1 the count. Big cushion now for the 25-year-old Santo Domingo native, and he hits a shot right at John Olerud. He makes the play unassisted, and there's 1 gone in the 4th.
In our business, television, we have a term called fill time. And that's what it is for Juan Guzman right here. Fill up the strike zone with as many pitches as you can, as he did right there. Don't take them to deep counts. 6-run lead. Take your chances. Make them put it in play.
Facing Harold Baines, who fly to center field his first time up. High chopper and Olerud with another easy play at first. 2 down. Talk about setting the tone. The era by Henderson today and Carter's 2-run homer. Well, last night, Barry Bonds, who finally got out of that big slump in game number 5, hit a home run, a deep one in Atlanta Stadium, and that set the tone for a big Pittsburgh victory to set up tonight's 7th game of the National League Championship Series.
And what Toronto wanted to avoid, and looks like they're in the process of doing. Boy, that losing that game 6 puts so much pressure, in this case, on a John Smoltz.
Mark McGwire takes a strike, and in what would be the case tomorrow if the A's were to stage a big rally, Jack Morris.
A big psychological edge for the team that wins game 6 if it goes to 7.
Popped up. Olerud. He has a play, and he handles all 3 putouts. Guzman threw only 5 pitches that inning as he disposes of the A's quickly in the 4th.
Labatt Genuine Draft. It isn't heat pasteurized like most other beers. It's cold filtered, clean and smooth. New cold filtered Labatt Genuine Draft.
They may not know that Ford offers standard dual airbags and available anti-lock brakes on more models than any other manufacturer. But in time, we're certain they'll grow to appreciate it. The fact that we offer standard dual airbags and available anti-lock brakes on more models than any other manufacturer was worth repeating. At Ford of Canada, we're committed to making safety an important part of your future.
Mrs. Warren, showtime! Showtime!
Meet Mrs. Warren, a madam in George Bernard Shaw's classic Mrs. Warren's Profession. October 15th to 28th at Persephone Theater. Call 384-7727.
George! She's too young for you. She's too young for you.
RV Vacation Adventures gives you an opportunity to view the RV experience. Each week, see places your RV can take you. Hear folks tell of their favorite RV experiences. Learn of new places to visit and great routes that you'll enjoy traveling while getting to your destination. RV Vacation Adventures, each Sunday on CFQC TV. RV Vacation Adventures brought to you each week by Kelly's RV Center and Prowler Trailers.
Labatt presents the ALCS on CTV. Sponsored by Imperial Oil and Esso Associates. You're on your way with Esso.
The Toronto Blue Jays lead the Oakland A's 6-0 in Game 6, and a chance for the Blue Jays to win the American League pennant, something that has eluded them. Devon White, who was safe on the 2-base error by Henderson and hit into a force play. An outstanding play by Mike Bordick. Takes a call strike. The order for the Blue Jays for the 3rd time in the game. 1 ball and 1 strike to White. Fouled out of play. Top 3 hitters for Toronto coming into this game were hitting .311 in the series, but that also took into consideration Joe Carter hitting under .200, because that was before the 2-run homer in the 1st inning. Jeff Parrott in relief of Mike Moore. And a line drive to center field. It's a base hit. Willie Wilson knows how to play it on artificial turf. Bluffed White, who almost bluffed going to second, but he'll settle for a base hit. And that is the 8th hit of the game for Toronto.
And they will continue to try to push, I'm sure, try to get this thing to double digits if they can. They are overcoming the reputation Toronto teams of the past have had of waiting to get beat. They tended to sit back and wait, and you got the feeling, the rhythm of the game, they weren't going to do it. This team does not have that reputation, has overcome it.
And they really haven't changed their style. Cito Gaston is still managing the same way he's managed in the last 4 years to terrific success. Devon White with a tremendous stealing percentage during the regular year. 37 steals in 41 tries, but has come up empty in this one. There he goes. The pitch is taken for ball, and the throw is in time. So Devon White, who was thrown out only 4 times in the regular season, has now been thrown out 4 times in the series.
Boy, a bright spot for Oakland. Terry Steinbach has not swung the bat well, but he has thrown out almost 50% of the base stealers. And the throw to Bordick right on target.
One away in the 4th, and here is Roberto Alomar. Singled, stole second, and came around and scored on Olerud's double last inning. He is having a marvelous postseason, as he did last year.
Baseball for years, when you had a 6-run lead, if you tried to steal second base, they'd say, what are you trying to do? Rub it in, show us up. Not true anymore, especially when you have the comeback and home run power of Oakland. You're going to try to tack on every additional run you can.
There's a strike. Well, we saw what happened when the A's had a 6-1 lead, and there were several other possibilities that went by the boards. They could have put the game away, and they didn't, and the Blue Jays came back and win in a very big contest, the biggest one of this series that we've seen. Call strike. Full count now to Alomar. On deck is Carter. And a liner to left. Henderson has to play it on a hop. And Roberto Alomar has 2 hits in the game. Here's Joe Carter. How did they pitch him in the first inning?
Well, we showed you the 5-pitch sequence and how Mike Moore went at him. You see a 1-1 count, the 1-1 pitch up and in for a ball. Then he comes back with a strike, and here's the one that did the damage. The 5th one. That was right in the middle of the zone, and that's what set the tone early for the Blue Jays. Credit to Joe Carter. He's had a rough series, comes to the park every day with a smile on his face, ready to play, delivering today.
You knew he would sooner or later. So Alomar, who has 10 hits in the series, on at first base, and Joe Carter rounds the first pitch foul.
You'll see some freewheeling swings right now. If the Blue Jays had their way, they'd like to fast forward this game to about the 8th inning, but they know they want to keep on attacking, try to play aggressive when they're at the plate, and have confidence that Guzman can continue to throw strikes.
A's have their bullpen working. Jeff Russell begins to throw. 1-1 to Carter. There is Russell.
Tony La Russa will, in all probability, give Parrott a couple innings, Russell a couple. Just send a new arm out there, a fresh arm every other inning to try and at least hold it to a touchdown and see if his team can make some kind of a move.
Russell, by the way, was the winning pitcher for the A's in the first game, despite giving up a run-scoring single. He was the pitcher of record when Baines hit his home run in the ninth. Don Denkinger indicates that Carter did not go around, and the count to Joe is 2-1. Alomar, the runner at first base. White had singled to start this 4th inning, but was thrown out attempting to steal. Diving back safely.
look around Skydome. It's amazing how 6 minutes before game time you can look up and say there's no way there'll be 50,000 people here. Looks like it's about a third full, and just like that, it's packed.
No parachutes either. And they came to cheer.
The most anticipation that this Blue Jay crowd has ever had. The most confidence that this is the team that can finally do it.
Going to second. 3 balls and 1 strike. Mike Moore started for the A's, who had terrific success at Skydome, 5-2 lifetime, but he did not get out of the 4th inning, and he gave up 6 runs, 5 of which were earned on 7 hits. And Jeff Parrott in relief. And Carter just missed that one. Hits a high pop-up. Jerry Brown will make the catch in fair territory for the second out here in the 4th. Dave Winfield made his debut on June the 19th, 1973. The center fielder, Jerry Morales. But the big question, who was the right fielder? That's right, Cito Gaston, the manager of the Blue Jays.
And those were the days when there was still some question. Would Dave Winfield be an outfielder or a pitcher? He's an outstanding pitcher at the University of Minnesota, as well as a good hitter and a good basketball player.
I think he could have done anything he wanted. Well, here's Winfield, who was walked intentionally last inning. A move that backfired as John Olerud lined a double down the right field line to drive in a run and set up Maldonado's 3-run homer, as the A's wanted to pitch around Winfield, who had blistered Mike Moore, and pitched to the lefty Olerud. Didn't work. First pitch to Dave. 1-0 the count. Not often that a crowd comes to a game and can start a celebration early. It's not over yet. It's 6-0, but this crowd in a festive mood as Winfield takes ball 2.
We'll be very eager to see the reaction. As you mentioned, they still have a few frames up there to fill in. But, this crowd has never been able to celebrate. They've been knocked for being very, very quiet and passive. They've changed that during this series. This is the most noise they've made, the most animated they've been.
And there goes Alomar. The throw to second, not in time. And Alomar has his second stolen base in the ball game and his 5th of the series. Blankenship was covering on the throw.
Just trying to tack on. Good jump. Winfield commits on the swing, and Steinbach, who's had a good percentage the entire series. Alomar a little too quick a jump on that one.
The things you can do when you have a 6-run lead.
And some speed, as Roberto Alomar does, along with White at the top of that lineup. Surprising, as we mentioned the other day, that Bill LaJoy, if Atlanta wins, feels they'd match up better with Toronto. I don't know too many teams that can match up man for man with the talent this club has.
Right now, Toronto's in better shape than Atlanta. They're leading 6-0 in a possible deciding game. Winfield, let's go with the bat. Jerry Brown will get it back.
At those big arms extended, and try to just throw the barrel at it, as he so often does. This backhand play by Jerry Brown.
Two balls and 2 strikes to Winfield.
See, every hitter that steps in now for Toronto wants to put a little exclamation point on this game. So you'll see some big aggressive swings.
Jeff Parrott, who relieved Mike Moore last inning and got the final out after 8 men came to the plate for Toronto. Here's the 2-2 pitch to Winfield, and he strikes out on a pitch outside the strike zone. So after 4 innings, 6-0 the score here in Toronto.
CTV's presentation of the 1992 Labatt Major League Championship Series is brought to you by Honda, the official car of the Blue Jays for the past 16 years.
Peanut butter.
Peanut butter?
Some say the Mississippi Delta is the home of the blues.
Well, I'm going down the road and stop at Fannie Mae.
Others say Chicago.
Gonna tell Fannie what I heard. A boyfriend said, don't start me talking. I'll tell everything.
But really, you'll find some cool blues right in your own backyard.
I'm gonna break up this signal.
Honest and true. You bet it's blue.
Question. How much will the contents of your garage be worth 3 to 4 years down the road? Whereas many sedans drop more than 30% in value within the very first year, the Honda Accord has a knack of holding its value, as well as it holds the road.
There's just one, and there's...
Are forgotten when the game is over, and the third inning was big for Juan Guzman.
1-1 to the A's catcher.
2 on. He had Henderson up. He got out of that jam with Henderson and Brown, and then when Alomar led off with a hit, it just turned the whole tide of the game around in the third inning.
Two balls and a strike. Has had success against him, hitting over 300 lifetime. Not as much as Willie Wilson has, the on-deck batter. Line shot, foul into the stands.
And that's what you fight right now as an Oakland A's hitter like Terry Steinbach. It's so easy to fall back on your heels, get a little depressed. You're down 6. You isolate each at bat and try to just get on base the best way you can and generate something for your ball club. Walk, hit.
3-2 pitch, just got a piece of it.
When I see Terry Steinbach take swings like that, then that's a strong endorsement for the kind of stuff that Guzman has. You do not make him swing that defensively very often.
Similar to Steinbach's swings against David Cone in the second game of the series here. There's a line drive, base hit for Steinbach. And the A's have their first base hit of the ball game. Terry Steinbach gets it, leading off in the 5th inning.
Good at bat, doing what he can, get something started. He fouled off the 3-2 pitch and takes a good fastball there in the outside corner. Good at bat from a man who has struggled against some tough right-hand pitching in this series.
He had a good pitcher's pitch on that one. Steinbach's aboard, and here is Willie Wilson, who struck out but reached on a pass ball. by Pat Borders, his first time up. He takes up high 1-0. Wilson 7 for 10 lifetime against Juan Guzman. Blue Jays lead 6-0. We're in the top of the 5th inning. A's with the leadoff man aboard. And it's low, 2-0.
Even though it's difficult to do under these pressure circumstances on the Oakland bench, somehow some veteran tries to loosen things up and make light of the fact that what chance do we have? We're down 6. Colleague Tim McCarver we can recall back in 1976 when the Cubs had the Phillies beaten about 11-1, and we were kidding on the bench. Phillies came back and won that game. Now that's a stretch to say they'll do it, but that's the only chance you have to try to generate some feeling that you can do it.
Fastball and a strike. Borders went out to settle Guzman down. You've been there, but I'm sure he said, look, just throw strikes. You're up by 6 runs.
Don't look at anything but my glove, not who's hitting. Tunnel vision.
Can't hit a 6-run homer. Up the middle and a base hit for Willie Wilson. The A's with 2 runners aboard here in the 5th inning as Steinbach and Wilson collect the first hits against Guzman. That'll bring up Mike Bordick.
Second time through the order. Steinbach with a base hit on a good pitch. That one down there. The one hope they have is get that pitch count up a little bit and hope that Cito Gaston has to go to the bullpen a little sooner than Ward and Hinkie would come on.
Mike Bordick 0 for 1, 1 for 18 in the series. That strikeout was on a called third strike. A's trying to get back in this game, trailing 6-0, 2 on and nobody out. Bordick hits a pop-up, should be handled by Olerud in foul territory, and he's got it. So Bordick went after the first pitch, so he didn't make Guzman try to get some pitches over the plate, and there's 1 down here in the 5th.
And that happens often when you're a young player like Mike Bordick, who has struggled in this series. Get a little anxious, figure, well, the best pitch I get to hit might be that first fastball, try to jump on it. Talking about the Toronto bullpen, the one advantage Cito Gaston has if the Blue Jays hold on to this lead with a few days off before the World Series is he can bring Dwayne Ward into this game a little sooner.
He's got Tom Hinkie to close it. He has saved 3 Blue Jays hits, all 3 of their victories. And the first pitch to Blankenship is a strike. Lance walked his first time up. That's the Toronto bullpen. There's Dwayne Ward and Tom Hinkie right in the middle.
He's been here for all of these Toronto division winners going back to '85.
On the inside corner, Guzman jumps in front of Blankenship. 2 strikes. 85, the year that the Blue Jays squandered a 3-1 lead over the Kansas City Royals. 3 of the last 4 years, Toronto has won the division only to lose in the LCS. They got a chance to get farther than they've ever had before and make history as the first Canadian team into the World Series. Here's the 0-2 pitch. Blankenship takes the ball away.
Ironic that 2 of the pitchers on those other division winners that were so important in that era of Toronto are primarily spectators in this one. Dave Steve and Jimmy Key. Key only getting a chance to pitch out of the bullpen.
Goes around and strikes out for out number 2. That is the 5th strikeout of the game for Juan Guzman.
Again, the down-breaking slider, a most unusual breaking slider. I would think if most scouts saw that pitch the first time, they'd say he throws a splitter or a forkball, that it goes straight down, but it is not. It's a slider.
Guzman struck out more than 8 batters per 9 innings this year, second in the league behind Randy Johnson of the Seattle Mariners. So here's Ricky Henderson. The crowd all over him right now, chanting his name. Ball 1. Henderson is 0 for 2. And his two-base error in the first inning paved the way for 2 big runs for the Blue Jays. Two balls and no strikes to Ricky.
With the neck injury that Ricky's had and a little bit of back problem, he is unable to drive the ball as well as he did when he was here in 1989.
That was the year he hit 400 against Toronto pitching. Was the big batting star with 8 stolen bases on the Pats. There's a strike, 2 and 1. Juan Guzman had not allowed a hit till the 5th inning here when Steinbach and Wilson had back-to-back singles, but he has set down Bordick and Blankenship. And now dealing with Ricky Henderson with the count 2 and 1. In for the strike, 2 and 2. Guzman has been so tough pitching inside against the right-handed hitters today.
Inside with the fastball and then that hard breaker on the outside corner.
Crowd would like nothing more than for Guzman to fan Henderson here. He does. The A's lead 2, and he gets Ricky again.
And now, another Coca-Cola Sports Break. Here's Rod Black.
Well, Ricky Henderson and the Oakland A's have a lot of work to do if they intend to force this to a 7th and deciding game, something the Pittsburgh Pirates and Jim Leyland did last night in Atlanta. 2nd inning, the sleeping giant has been rattled up. Barry Bonds, home run, 1-0 Pittsburgh. The beginning of an onslaught, and it's Don Slott who doubles in Jeff King, and Lloyd McClendon takes it to the wall. It's 3-0 Pirates, still 2nd inning. A dreadful inning for Tom Glavine, who has not had a lot of success in the postseason. Gary Reedus looping a single, and that will score Jose Lind. It was 5-0 for the Pirates. Jay Bell rings one. 3-run home run, 8-0 Bucks. 8 hits in the 2nd inning. The game was over thanks to Tim Wakefield, the young knuckleballer. He had the Braves baffled all night long. Sid Bream grounds out for the last out. A whitewash, 13-4, the Pirates win. The series is tied at 3. Game 7 is tonight, and maybe the tide has turned.
To me in baseball.
There's just one, and there's no mistaking it one.
Why don't you and me do some fancy stuffing tonight?
With that cool style of it, ooh, with that smile, yeah, one.
She's a beautiful dancer. Why, I used to call her Twinkle Toes.
Can you do this one?
Ooh, there's just one.
You're not so bad yourself.
1 calorie just for
Some for you,
Thanks.
some for me.
Diet Coke.
And Game 7, NLCS, John Smoltz, Doug Drabek tonight, 8 o'clock Eastern. Big doubleheader today. It has been a great series. The other one, like this one, maybe is a little bit more lopsided. But the World Series, will it be the Blue Jays? Will it be the A's? And who will it be from the NLCS? We will find out by the end of the day. Let's rejoin Jim Cott, Dick Stockton, and the people at CBS.
The Blue Jays are batting in the 5th inning, leading 6-0. Juan Guzman has set down the A's, who have left 4 men on base. They had 2 base runners in the 3rd and 5th innings. And now it'll be Olerud, Maldonado, and Gruber against Jeff Parrott, the 2nd pitcher of the day for Oakland. First pitch is a breaking ball in for a strike. Olerud crossed up the A's strategy by doubling a home run back in the 3rd inning. Fan interference, got 2 bases. 2 runs would have scored, but 1 came in on Alomar. after Winfield was walked intentionally. And the on-deck hitter here, Candy Maldonado, followed with a 3-run blast. There's a fastball and a grounder off the glove of Blankenship into right field. And Olerud is aboard with his second hit of the game.
This is how Mike Moore went at Candy Maldonado in his last at-bat. A 3-pitch sequence, ball 1, then a strike outside, and then again. Mike Moore, it appeared that his stuff was sharp, but he put a couple of very fat, hittable pitches in the middle of the zone, one to Carter and that one to Maldonado. And oftentimes 2 or 3 of those can do enough damage to cost you a game.
Here is Maldonado. Struck out and then hit a 3-run homer. He has driven in 6 runs in this series. Fouls off the fastball, 0-1. Now Rick Honeycutt warming up for the A's. Jeff Russell had been warming up. Mike Moore lasted 3 2/3 innings, gave up all 6 runs, 5 of which were earned. And Maldonado takes ball 1, 1-1.
Watching Olerud and Maldonado swing the bat with Gruber in the on-deck circle, again from a pitcher standpoint, you can see how much more relaxed these hitters are with the balance in the lineup, not depending on the top 3. Each guy doesn't overswing, try to do too much.
And a ground ball, base hit to center field. Olerud will stop at second base, and Maldonado has his second hit of the game. Blue Jays have at least 1 hit in every inning, and all but 1 inning have at least 2 hits.
Well, as many thought this year, this finally could be Toronto's year, and many being American League managers, scouts, when you looked at this team and the talent, and with the addition of Jack Morris and the maturity of Guzman, you said one of these years it will be that year. Could be this one.
And all they've ever had to do is get over the hump once, and then nobody would speak of it again. Here is Kelly Gruber, struck out and grounded out. Nobody out, runners at first and second, and there's the bunt. Parrott has 1 play. It's the first in time to Blankenship covering, and a perfect sacrifice, and runners are at second and third.
Kelly Gruber probably say, what town am I in? These people are cheering for me. They didn't do that all year. And again, the sacrifice bunt, an indication that Cito Gaston just wants to tack another point or 2 up there.
1 out, and the A's bring their infield in for Pat Borders, who has singled twice to left field. You look at the batting average down the line. Hitters 5 through 9, not that impressive, but all of them, to a man, have had a big hit and a big extra base hit in this series for Toronto. Borders goes around for strike 1. You can count Olerud, Maldonado, Gruber, Borders, and Manny Lee amongst that company.
Larry Heisel, their hitting coach, has done a terrific job, especially with hitters like Borders and Manny Lee, to make him be a little more selective. Borders chased a bad pitch there, but he's had much better discipline this year than in the past.
You saw Olerud at third, Maldonado with the lead at second, and a fly ball to left field. Tagging up is Olerud. Ricky Henderson makes the catch. Olerud will score. Holding at second is Maldonado. It's now a 7-0 game. Sacrifice fly for Pat Borders, and his 3rd RBI of the series. 2 outs. This has been Toronto's day, and maybe Canada's day, as Tony La Russa comes out of the dugout. You saw Honeycutt warming up.
Toronto put that crooked number on the board. Now they want to add a few fence posts to it. Just 1 here, 1 there, make things a little more comfortable.
So Parrott will be removed, and Rick Honeycutt will be the new pitcher. And Jim and I will return to Sky Dome in just a moment.
main objective when we designed our new front-wheel drive minivan with standard anti-lock brakes was to make certain that it was the only car in its class. Period. Introducing the 1993 Villager. Quality is job one. It's working.
Midas will look at your brakes 49 different ways, free. Then we'll give you a guaranteed estimate and a certified brake specialist to fix them right. The free 49-point brake inspection. 49 reasons to trust your brakes to Midas.
Like half is,
Springs are back. And they're only a penny extra when you order either of Harvey's all-time favorite sandwich specials. The Texan with real barbecue flavor, or the one and only Chicken Geneva.
they're like...
In French, we call them fidèles.
Penny frames, only at Harvey's.
No decision required.
Beautiful choice, beautiful value.
They're like I like them.
From Walt Disney Pictures, critics are cheering for the nation's #1 comedy, The Mighty Ducks. It's a definite winner. A comedy that'll keep the entire family laughing. You'll love The Mighty Ducks, now playing.
This day in baseball history, 16 years ago today.
Sounded like an old shortstop making that call. Chris Chambliss home run off a former teammate of Mark Littell. And you mentioned Toronto getting over the hump. And after games like that, that's what Kansas City was faced with. And they finally did it also. 1985, actually 1980 got in the series.
That old shortstop you were talking about, Phil Rizzuto, the Yankee broadcaster. And the new pitcher is Rick Honeycutt, facing Manuel Lee with 2 outs. And Maldonado on at second base. First pitch is in for a strike. Honeycutt is making his second appearance. He appeared for 2/3 of an inning in the 3rd game at Oakland. He had a hip injury coming into the series and was problematical down the stretch.
Activated at the last minute for the purpose of maybe getting hitters out like John Olerud.
1-1 to Lee, who's 1 for 2 with a single. Let Atlanta have the Olympics. Toronto will take the World Series. Can't argue with the fans.
It looks like the Blue Jays will have a jump on the Braves. They have a little work to do tonight.
7-0. The Blue Jays lead here in the bottom of the 5th inning. Rick Honeycutt, the 3rd pitcher for the A's. Falling behind 2-1 to the Blue Jays shortstop. Predominantly right-handers in the series. Honeycutt for the A's and Jimmy Key for the Blue Jays, the only lefties to see action.
Speaking of lefties, the other night Sean McDonough and Tim McCarver were talking about lefties in their caps, that they wear them a little bit awkward, and there's a reason for that. You ever watch a left-hander walk? They always tilt to one side. There's a little bit of an angle there, and that's why even though when we put our caps on we think they're straight, they're really not straight, because there's no left-hander walk straight. There's always a little tilt. And some say they're a little tilted anyway.
Well, I was going to say that's only the start of the idiosyncrasies of lefties. Bobbling the ball is Bornick. He recovers and throws out Lee. So that'll retire the side, but one more run crosses the plate for the Blue Jays, and we'll return to Sky Dome after this word from your local station.
Who said paradise was lost? This is our reward for using the card. Every time we did, the points kept building, and it was smooth sailing from there.
The Membership Rewards Program. Use the card, reap the rewards.
One blissful weekend away from the kids. That's our reward for using the card. Every time we did, the points kept building. You know.
Presentation of the 1992 Labatt Major League Championship Series is brought to you by Honda, the official car of the Blue Jays for the past 16 years.
Quiet A's dugout. They avoided being eliminated at home by capturing the 5th game of the series on Monday, and felt that if they could get by this game, might have an edge into Game 7. But 7 seems a long, long way away. Jerry Brown, the man they call the governor, takes a call strike. He's 0 for 3, 0 for 2 thus far. The A's 1-2-3 hitters were 8 for 11 in that 5th game, and today they're hitless in 7 trips to the plate. Big part of the story here is Brown takes low 1-1.
Nothing like having a pitcher with dominant stuff to come back after you showed graphics like that to kill a team's momentum, what they've had going for them. That's usually what it takes when you look at the history of postseason baseball. Whether it's Gibson or Lolich or whoever it was, you seldom see teams come back with an 8-7 win. It's always a dominant pitching performance, it seems like.
Pitch and a short hop, handled well by Manuel Lee. Good play by Lee. He's made 3 errors in this series, but he knows how to handle the turf here. And Brown is retired, 1 out in the 6th. In case you've just joined us, this is what's happened thus far. Joe Carter with a 2-run homer to give the Blue Jays a 2-0 lead. Olerud doubled in another run to make it 3, and then Candy Maldonado hit his 2nd home run of the series, a 3-run blast to make it 6-0, and Pat Borders knocked in another run with a sacrifice fly. And Juan Guzman has allowed only 2 hits through 5 1/3 innings. Ruben Sierra grounds the pitch off the end of the bat, strike 1.
New experience for Oakland in their other league championship series in recent years. They've been able to put away the Red Sox or the Blue Jays early, 4 games or 5. They've never had to go this deep, but a great year for what they've been through, and they still have a few opportunities here.
Base hit to right center field by Sierra. Takes the big turn at first, so the first hit of the game for Ruben and his 8th hit in the series. Hit number 3 off of Juan Guzman. Guzman has walked 1 and struck out 6 today, and faces Harold Baines, who's looking for his first hit. Baines has had a fine series for Oakland. Ball 1 outside.
With the right-hand pitching that Toronto presents, Morris, Cone, and Guzman, you figured it was going to take some production from the left side of the plate. And with Brown, Sierra, and Baines, they've done their share.
And there goes Sierra. Pitch is taken for a ball. Manny Lee covering, and it's not in time. Stolen base for Ruben Sierra. Sierra obviously feeling he could run on Guzman, who was spending all of his focus in on the batter.
Take what they give you. You see Olerud moving behind Sierra. No attempt to hold him on. And so the Blue Jays want to give him the base. Sierra says, I'll take it.
First stolen base of the series for Sierra. The count is 2 balls and no strikes to Harold Baines. Line to center field, and it'll be played on a hop by Devon White. Holding at third base is Sierra, and it's cut off by Olerud. Hard hit single by Baines, his 10th hit of the series. There's Sierra on at third, and Baines at first with 1 out.
Nice 7-run margin, but I would not expect Gaston to wait too long with Guzman. 5 1/3. His pitch count is going to nudge up there toward 100, and a capable bullpen with Ward and Hinkie and a few days off if they put this one away.
But in any event, when we arrived here, Jim, everyone was talking about Cito Gaston and the mistake he might have made in going with 3 starters, 3 pitchers with 3 days rest. Here's McGuire, who is 0 for 2. He hasn't hit the ball out of the infield and fouls off the first pitch for a strike.
I get a kick out of that 3 days rest because they always say you want to be strong. If strength were the top requirement for being a pitcher, then you'd pitch once a week and you'd sign Hulk Hogan and Sergeant Slaughter. You know, it's not strength, it's skill, touch, and feel. And the more often you get out to the mound, the better chance you have to have it.
One ball and one strike to Mark McGwire. One for his last 17 after hitting a home run his first time up in the series. It's been a long drought for McGwire, who had 42 home runs this year and was second in the home run derby in the American League. Got a good pitch to hit, a fastball dealt high.
Knew he just missed that one. It has been a just missed series for Mark McGwire, who's had a great year with the help of Doug Rader in that new relaxed position he has of the elbow. I mean, an inch or two here or there and he'd have a half a dozen home runs. That was a pitch right there he was right on.
Ground ball into the hole and a base hit to left field. Sierra will come across with a run. Stopping at second base is Bain. So 3 straight hits after one were out here in the 6th inning. And Mark McGwire has his 3rd RBI, and that broke a big drought for him. And the Athletics finally score 7-1 here in the 6th inning. Five hits now off of Guzman. McGwire is on at first and Baines at second. Toronto bullpen begins to stir, as you anticipated. Terry Steinbach is the hitter. He singled his last time up. Got the first hit for the A's last inning. Good fastball on the inside corner.
The A's have had such a great history this year of comeback wins that in their dugout right now it's a matter of just one more hit. Get one more hit. Let's get somebody up there that can hit a long one.
No balls and 2 strikes now to Steinbach. The left-hander on the right is Jimmy Key and Todd Stottlemyre, the 2 starters during the regular year and relegated to the bullpen in Cito Gaston's plan to go with 3 starters, and they're warming up now. But Guzman is ahead of Steinbach, 2 strikes with 1 out and runners at first and second. 7-1 the score. The Blue Jays in front. Steinbach went out, says Don Denkinger. And Terry is out on strikes for the 2nd time in the game. He gives Denkinger a long look, but it looked like he did go around, and that's the 7th strikeout for Guzman.
Steinbach didn't buy it. He felt he held up enough, and when you have a right-hand pitcher with a slider like that, right-hand hitter, that first base umpire comes into play for so many calls, as you see that check swing where they're trying to hold up on that hard slider, and it's hard to do.
Which brings us to Willie Wilson with 2 outs and 2 on. Wilson struck out but reached on a pass ball by Borders. Singled his last time up. He's 8 for 11 lifetime against Guzman, and he hits this foul ball that Gruber chases in vain. What made a lot of people critical of Cito Gaston's pitching plans is the fact that Jack Morris was ineffective in game 4, and David Cohn, who was so impressive in the 2nd game, didn't have it in game number 5. But that is strictly a second guess.
My answer to that is how effective was Jack Morris in game 7 of last year's World Series?
Pretty effective.
10 innings, no runs.
Wilson fooled on that pitch, and the count now is 0-2 to Willie. That's Jack Morris, who charting pitches in case there would be a 7th game.
He'd rather pitch on Saturday.
A ball and 2 strikes. Yeah, he's hoping his next pitching assignment is either Three River Stadium or Atlanta Stadium. 1 ball and 2 strikes to Willie Wilson. Gets away from Borders, and the runners will advance. 2-2 the count, and that might be a pass ball. Charge to Borders.
Looked like a cross-up. I don't know who misread the sign, Borders or Guzman, but you see Borders go up. He thinks it's going to be a high fastball. Guzman read the sign differently and threw either a slider or a changeup. Ooh. And with the kind of stuff he's got, Pat Borders said, hey, we're using the second sign. I'd like to play a few more games. Hit him in close to a very vulnerable area.
Second pass ball of the game for Borders. Count is even to Wilson, 2-2. But the crowd still enthusiastic, looking for the strikeout. It. Willie Wilson strikes out, and Juan Guzman is pitched out of trouble in the 3rd, 5th, and here in the 6th inning. 1 run for the A's. They trail 7-1.
Turning down the heat. New cold filtered Labatt Genuine Draft.
Any major purchase involves a leap of faith. Buy a Nissan and it doesn't have to. You're protected by the Nissan Satisfaction Commitment. The most comprehensive customer care program in Canada. It comes at no extra cost and has no deductibles. Because at Nissan, we believe warranties should protect the people who drive the cars, not the people who make them. Nissan, built for the human race.
Super crisps, super spirals, McCain. What have you done to my fries?
We've spiced them up.
All right.
We've crisped them up.
Brilliant.
We've even curled them up.
Excellent.
McCain has taken its famous super fries, dipped them in light batter, and surrounded them with bite after bite of crispy, crunchy, super spicy satisfaction. Straight ahead or curled around. Super crisps and super spirals from McCain. You'll love what we've done to your fries.
Accidents happen. Here's what you do. Report the accident to SGI. Bring the white sheet that you get from them to the body shop at Sherwood Chevrolet. We will order the required parts. When they arrive, we will give you a free loaner to drive while we are repairing your vehicle. You notice that we work on all makes of cars and trucks. Free loaner, guaranteed work, no gamble. Sherwood Chevrolet on 8th Street East. We'll fix it right.
Juan Guzman giving the fans a thrill this afternoon. Did not allow a base hit until the 5th inning. Though the A's had 2 runners on back in the 3rd, they got 2 hits in the 5th, 3 in the 6th, but 8 strikeouts for Juan Guzman. In command, leading 7-1 as the Blue Jays present the top of their order here in the 6th inning against Rick Honeycutt. Devon White leading off. Batting right-handed. You haven't seen many of these switch hitters hit from the right side in this series. Breaking ball in for a strike. White is 1 for 3 with a single. He reached on an error by Henderson and came around on Carter's home run in the 1st inning. 0-2 now to White.
That last inning, again, an example of the dominant stuff of Juan Guzman. I'm sure in the A's dugout they feel that they've been about 1 hit away of kind of getting back in it. Every time they do, he comes up with a strikeout.
Fouled out of play. You got Steinbach and Wilson to end that 6th inning. He struck out Ricky Henderson to end the uprising in the 5th inning. And got Henderson prior to getting Jerry Brown on a pop-up back in the 3rd. So he's had the strikeout pitch when he's needed it today. No balls and 2 strikes to White. Checked his swing. Well, there's talk about 3 days rest. You got to go back to 27 years ago, as we said at the outset, when Sandy Koufax threw a 3-hit shutout and had 10 strikeouts with only 2 days rest in the deciding game of the 1965 World Series. You know, you were there.
I recall that. I didn't fare as well as Mr. Koufax, but another example of a pitcher in postseason pitching on short rest and pitching his team to a championship.
White with a big cut strikes out, and the first strikeout for Rick Honeycutt, and the 6th by Oakland pitchers. Roberto Alomar with a big 2-run home run in the 9th inning to tie up game number 4 at 6-6 after the A's had led 6-1. The A's had a chance in the bottom of that 9th, but the Blue Jays won in 11. One of the memorable games of league championship history. Alomar takes a call strike on a breaking pitch. He's 2 for 3.
Yeah, if this lead again holds up, you wonder who would be considered the most valuable player, outstanding player this series. That home run, even though it was 1 hit.
Alomar grounds to Bordick in time. Right now, my vote would have to go to number 12.
Candy Maldonado would certainly warrant some consideration, but I don't know that 1 hit turned this series around any more than the one that Robbie got.
He's hit close to 400 and has wanted the ball in just about every pop-up to the right side of the infield or outfield, for that matter, the way he has really played aggressive ball in this series. 2 down to Joe Carter. He got the biggest cheer early in the game when he ended an extra base drought, 21 at-bats, by hitting a 400-foot home run over the center field fence. That gave the Jays a 2-0 lead, and they haven't looked back. Fastball on the corner, 1-1. There's another kind of contest going on right now with tobacco juice.
Okay. That's the bench patrol.
The Trenchmen. Turner Ward, Derek Bell, Ed Sprague. And a pop-up. Second baseman Blankenship. And a 1-2-3 inning for Rick Honeycutt. So after 6 innings, it's 7-1 in favor of Toronto.
Labatt's League Championship Series Baseball on CTV is sponsored by SaskTel.
The 92 Mazdas are disappearing fast. Now get automatic transmission or equivalent credit on quality 92s, like the sleek NX5 Miata, the enormously spacious MPV, the frisky, fun-loving 323, the surprising Protege, and a whole herd of Mazda trucks. So for this great offer backed by the Mazda Leadership Warranty, save them before they're gone for good.
Grandpa, you always go to Esso.
Always have.
But I know why.
Well, they're nice folks. Service is always good.
But did you ever see a tiger?
I'm too old to see tigers.
Too old?
When you get bigger, you don't see tigers anymore. Did you see a tiger?
I'm too big to see tigers.
Me too.
At Esso, giving you good service is how we earn our stripes.
You're on your way with Esso.
Timothy Eaton would be amazed at the shape legs are in today, especially with our top-selling exclusive Eaton Vanity Fair Silky Sheer Pantyhose. Eaton Value priced at $3.49 a pair. So why wait when you can get Eaton Value every day?
Go away, Grant.
How you doing, Ed?
I don't want to buy anything.
Fine.
Look, costs are up, sales are flat. I need revenue.
And you don't want to know about our new long-distance savings plan.
Nope.
Big savings, Ed.
Yeah, and I'm such a big spender.
Doesn't matter. You can still save 15% a month on long distance with TelePlus.
Make more sales calls.
For the same money.
TelePlus. Makes sense.
Can I sit down now?
Nope.
Long distance business sense from SaskTel.
Back here at Sky Dome, and a pinch hitter for Mike Bordick, Eric Fox. Leading off against Juan Guzman, takes ball one up high. Fox is a switch hitter. He has been up once and did not hit safely. He's appeared as a pinch runner. He's got good speed on the base paths. A 29-year-old rookie who was thrown out at the plate in the bottom of the ninth inning of that game 4 on Sunday. With the bases loaded, with a runner at third and the infield in. Count is 2-1 to him, but a hero in a big game that the A's will look back on during the regular season.
And when they look back on the season, should the Blue Jays hang on to this lead, that game I think will say a lot about what kind of a year it's been for Toronto. As Tony La Russa said, how could you lose a game when you used Mark McGwire to drop down a perfect bunt to get Fox to third base? They elect to pitch to Steinbach with the infield in, your favorite clutch hitter, and he hits a ground ball right at Robbie Alomar, and the runner gets thrown. He said, you know, that was a game that they just knew they were going to win, and they didn't.
Fox draws a leadoff walk to start the 7th inning. That is only the second walk issued by Juan Guzman. And Galen Cisco, the Blue Jays pitching coach, heading out to the mound.
We'll probably get him stirring out in the bullpen. Toronto bullpen has had a rather relaxing day so far. Dwayne Ward
and Todd Stottlemyre. Ward is on the left.
You know, one of the things during the course of a 162-game season, bullpens try to stay active and come up with some entertainment down there. Tom Hinkie and his crew, and what they do in the Toronto bullpen is play trivia. Now you could play sports trivia or entertainment trivia. They'll come up with initials and like television shows, and then take turns guessing who it is. And Hinkie stumped everybody the other night. His all-time stumper, he says, I'll always get him with AZ. And it's Arnold Ziffel, who was the pig in Green Acres. That's his toughest one. But that's some of the games that to while away the first 7 innings down there in the pen.
Would have stumped me. Here's Lance Blankenship, 0 for 1 with a walk. The A's have had opportunities today. They have all 5 of their hits in the last 2 innings. Nobody out, trailing 7-1. Guzman, who was keeping the ball down the first 5 innings or so, now has gotten it up a bit and is behind 1-0.
And we talk about short rest. That's where a pitcher will feel it most, in his legs. And the first indication that the legs are tiring is the ball starts staying up in the strike zone. That's what's happening right now.
There's a strike on his 107th pitch of the game. You talk about his legs. Every time we have covered the Toronto Blue Jays, 2 hours before the game, we find Juan Guzman running up and down the stairs, whatever park he is in. So his legs are strong.
As many pitchers in Major League Baseball today, the work they do between starts is a lot more strenuous what they do when they're on the mound. And that, again, on short rest is something that a pitcher can do, is a little less leg work between starts, so you don't tire yourself out as Guzman does, often running up and down these stadium steps.
Fox with the lead at first. The count 1 ball and 1 strike to Lance Blankenship. That's in the dirt. Blocked by Borders, and Fox can't advance. 2-1. Popped up. Right field. Carter with a run. He's got a beat on it. Makes the catch. In fair territory for the first out here in the 7th inning.
Somewhere in this stadium they're counting, and right now the magic number is 8. 8 more outs.
Ricky Henderson has drawn the ire of the fans since the opening frame. He opened the door for the Blue Jays in the first inning by dropping a fly ball. So one of the 2 runs were unearned as Carter hit a 2-run homer. Henderson has flied out and struck out twice, last time on a called 3rd strike. One and one. Henderson had started the series 0 for 9, and then he ran off a terrific string where he reached in 8 times in 11 trips, but now 0 for 3 here against the pitcher he's always had trouble with.
Might try to bunt right here. He's having trouble swinging against Guzman with that neck, I think.
2-1. Little chin music there.
Yeah. Probably not intentional. You'd like to get the fastball in on the inner half to Ricky. Certainly don't want to throw many balls in this situation with a 6-run lead.
Overmatched on that fastball. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Guzman has 8 strikeouts. Pitching with 1 out here in the 7th inning. The Blue Jays lead the A's 7-1. Approaching the brink of their first American League championship. And a drive hit to right field. Carter is going back. He's there, makes the catch for the 2nd out as Fox goes back to first. Henderson is 0 for 4. Two down now to Jerry Brown, who is 0 for 3 today. Showed you before how impressive the first 3 hitters in the A's lineup have been in Game 5. Not today. Ruben Sierra, who's the on-deck hitter, has the only hit amongst the first 3 hitters for the A's. 1-0 the count to Brown. And there goes Fox. Pitch is taken low, and Fox is in with a stolen base. It's a ball, 2-0 to Brown. Yet another stolen base for the A's, who have 16 in this series.
A couple of freebies here in this game. No attempt by Toronto to try to throw him out.
There's a strike, but that 16 stolen bases is an LCS record. And the one thing about Oakland that you'll always know is that they'll never go down easy.
They'll push right through the 9th inning, and that's what Tony's trying to do right here. Just try to make a mark or 2 and hope you get somebody up there that can hit a long one. A couple men on.
Guzman steps off, and Fox back to second. They have bat music when they're sitting on the top step of the dugout. This is a little knee music, a little piano music without the keys. And the ball hit to Alomar on 1 hop. He makes the play to retire the side. Robbie Alomar. And Guzman still has that 7-1 lead.
You guys sure send a lot of faxes.
Oh, yeah. I figure we have to fax every major city in North America at least once a month.
What do you think it costs?
Oh, I don't know. It costs what it costs. It's the cost of doing business. Never thought about it.
Well, let's think about it.
Faxcom from SaskTel, the fax network that consistently saves you money on long-distance faxes in Canada and the U.S. Call us and save.
You guys sure send a lot of faxes. What do you think it costs?
I don't know.
Long-distance business sense from SaskTel.
When Raymond Otwell of Whitehorse heard about MotoMaster's new long life antifreeze, he was a bit skeptical. After all, with an amazing new formula guaranteed for 4 years or 100,000 kilometers, that's enough to go around the world more than twice. Undaunted, he set out to test it himself. 100,000 kilometers later, Mr. Otwell came to 2 conclusions. You can't buy a better antifreeze than MotoMaster Long Life, and there really is no place like home. MotoMaster, exclusively at Canadian Tire.
Labatt's League Championship Series Baseball on CTV is sponsored by SaskTel.
Free soda pop refills, free soup and salad with dinner. Freedom. That's what makes this country great. I tell you, eating at Bonanza makes me feel like going out and having a parade.
Right now, Bonanza's 21 shrimp dinner is just $5.99 with all the free extras.
Look, free dessert, too. I don't suppose you're free tonight, huh? No? Nah, me neither.
Bonanza, where the extras don't cost extra.
Witness the power of Cashton. The power of Cashton is the power of music. Don't miss Cashton in concerts and witness the power of music.
Don't miss Cashton December 10th, Centennial Auditorium. Tickets at all CBO locations.
Commanding lead. The Pittsburgh Pirates are trying to come back from a 3-1 deficit tonight, and should they advance to the World Series, they would likely meet the Toronto Blue Jays. I'm here with Cam Bonifay, Assistant General Manager of the Pittsburgh Pirates. Cam, you're scouting this game. What has impressed you about the Blue Jays so far?
Well, I think all series they've had real good pitching with power arms, and Guzman has had an outstanding game today. He's thrown in the mid to upper 90s, and he's had power stuff. Their power in the outfield is a definite plus for them, and they have good defense up the middle. So they're a solid club. They'll be tough to beat.
Should you get to the World Series, what might be an advantage for you? The Blue Jays don't see a lot of knuckleballers.
Well, the knuckleballer is a unique guy. He's our miracle guy, and Tim Wakefield's been an outstanding pitcher for us down the stretch.
Great. Thank you, Cam. Best of luck. Dick.
Thank you, Leslie. Changes for the A's in the field. The new pitcher is Jeff Russell, and he starts off Dave Winfield with a breaking ball. Russell, that's his record. He won the first game of the series in relief, pitching a third of an inning and giving up a hit. Pitches inside to Winfield. 0 for 2 with a walk. Walt Weiss has gone in to play shortstop, and Mike Bordick has moved over to second, replacing Lance Blankenship. 1 ball and 1 strike to Winfield. Ball and 2 strikes.
I think what'll be a welcome sight if the Pirates were to win and the Blue Jays hold on is going to be to Andy Van Slyke and Barry Bonds. They won't have to look at those tough left-handers. They will see some right-handers with good arms, but at least they'll be right-handed.
1-2 pitch and a ground ball hit to shortstop. Weiss with the play, and there's 1 out. What do you think Cito Gaston's pitching rotation might be if the Jays, of course, hold their lead?
Just what it is right now, I would think. Morris, the rest would set up. Ideally, Morris could pitch Saturday, Cone Sunday. Monday would be a day off, and Juan Guzman would be all right for Game 3. Now, Jimmy Key may be a factor with the left-hand hitters of Pittsburgh and Atlanta, with Terry Pendleton from the left side, Dave Justice. Nice option of having a deep rotation.
Here is John Olerud, 2 for 3 with a double and a single. 2 balls and no strikes. Jeff Russell acquired from the Texas Rangers. That was in that big Canseco and Sierra deal. And Russell falls behind 3-0.
Talking about Tim Wakefield and looking at the scouts in the stands, that's the scouts' night off when Tim Wakefield pitches. What can you put down on your chart against a knuckleball? Try to catch it with a net, throw it up and hit it.
Olerud walks on 4 pitches, something like that.
Talking about a particular zone he's going to throw it in or anything.
Let's go back to the 3rd inning. A big blow, a 3-run homer to cap a 4-run inning as 8 men came to the plate and the Blue Jays open up a 6-0 lead. And here is Candy, who's 2 for 3.
As soon as that ball hits the bat, hitters will often tell you where it's going. If they're disgusted, they throw it down. He knew he hit that when he flipped it over to the side immediately.
Line drive to left field, and Ricky Henderson catches up with it. 2 down. You know, it's interesting in talking to Cito Gaston in his office before the game, Jim. He said something that I don't think the A's thought about. He says, I'm sure that the A's remember the 2 times this year that we had a 4-game series with them. When we won the first game and the A's took the last 3. Now, we didn't hear anyone on the Oakland side talk about it, but I'm sure it was in the back of Cito's mind.
And those were big moments for Tony La Russa and his ball club in winning the West. A couple of tough series during the year against the Blue Jays that they were able to come back in.
Ball 1 to Kelly Gruber. He is 0 for 2 and sacrificed his last time up. That's Bobby Witt, who along with Russell and Sierra had a chance to play in an LCS this year.
Be interesting to track his year next year after having spring training with Dave Duncan and trying to really maximize the talent he has with that great right arm.
Popped up. McGuire. And he falls into the photographer's box. But McGuire makes the catch to retire the side. The Blue Jays leave a base runner, and now we move to the 8th inning. He stuck with it, didn't he? 7-1 Toronto.
Since Audio Warehouse opened in 1964, technology has changed drastically. If your TV hasn't, step into the 21st century at Audio Warehouse. Audio Warehouse is committed to bringing you only the most respected names in television. Names like Sony, everything from 9 to 53 inches, including the incredible Sony XBR², a television that will change the way you see the world. Now at Audio Warehouse. Audio Warehouse, making TV worth watching since 1964.
An ordinary glass of milk. It could turn this young girl's stomach. She has lactose intolerance. Like more than 5 million children and adults in this country, she can't digest dairy foods. The lactose in them can cause real pain, bloating, diarrhea, sometimes for hours. Lucky she chewed 2 of these seconds before her milk. Lactaid, for the love of dairy foods.
Choices. Who will advise you on your financial future? A member of the Life Underwriters Association of Canada. A dedicated professional who participates in comprehensive training and follows a rigorous code of ethics. When you have decisions to make, contact one of our members and feel confident you've made the right choice.
Life Underwriters Association of Saskatoon, dedicated to you.
The Diefenbaker Center on the U of S campus is a legacy to and from Canadians all over the country. It has become the heart of our heritage in the West and offers many interesting programs and exhibits to enrich our lives. Currently, you can see over 2,000 artifacts in the old watch repair shop. This exhibit, based on the Roland Lefebvre collection from St. Albert, Alberta, suggests the design of a workshop. The Diefenbaker Center open Monday to Friday, 9:30 to 4:30, and from 12:30 to 5 p.m. on weekends and most holidays.
10 homers in the series, an LCS record, and 2 big ones by Carter and Maldonado. Juan Guzman, who's left the game after 7 innings of superb pitching, striking out 8. The Toronto Blue Jays are 6 outs away from winning the pennant and capturing the first flag for Canada. Dwayne Ward, who was the winning pitcher in Game 4, allowed only 1 hit and 2 innings pitched. A superb performance in relief, making his 3rd appearance of this series, as Guzman worked 7 innings, allowed only 1 run on 5 hits, walked 2 and struck out 8. Pitcher a record to win his 2nd game of the series. Ruben Sierra takes a fastball for a strike, 1 for 3 today. The only hit amongst the top 3 hitters for the A's. But Sierra has had a terrific series, driving in 7 runs, including a big home run in Game 5 on Monday. And he pops this one up into shallow right field. White makes the catch in front of Carter, who has a smile on his face. He'll give it up.
Everybody wants the ball now, but that's the best man to give it to, the center fielder.
This copyrighted telecast is presented by authority of Major League Baseball and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form without the express written consent of Major League Baseball. Here's Harold Baines. He singled his last time up against Guzman. He takes ball 1. We'll remember him for his home run in the 9th inning of the first game here at Skydome. Slices this to left center field, and this ball is up the gap and over the fence and bounces back, so it'll be a ground rule double for Harold Baines with 1 out here in the 8th inning.
And in his usual quiet way, he has piled up some kind of batting average in this American League Championship Series. Another big decision that Oakland will have to make looking ahead to next year's team with all their free agents.
Baines, of course, who played for Tony La Russa in Chicago back in '83 when they won the West. Here's Mark McGwire. He singled and drove in a run his last time up, takes a home run cut and misses for strike 1. And that hit by Harold Baines ties him for most hits in one series in an American League Championship Series. May not have a chance to break it. 0-1 to McGwire. Breaking ball, 1-1.
Couldn't draw this game up any better if you're Cito Gaston. You get the early runs to keep your fans alive the entire game, and you have a comfortable lead to turn over to Ward and Hinkie in the 8th and 9th.
A ball and 2 strikes. You can't blame people for talking about what's gone wrong for the Blue Jays in the past. But after today, they can't emphasize it anymore. They can just look to their 10-year winning record of averaging 89 wins a year for a decade. And the fact that 3 of the last 4 years they have won the division. Now it appears they'll get into the big show. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Ground ball, gloved by Gruber at third. Baines holds at second. McGwire is out, 2 down in the 8th.
Colorado Rockies and Florida Marlins hope that they can be as successful as this expansion franchise has been in the same amount of time that Seattle has been in existence. They've only had 1 season over 500, the Mariners.
They were successful in a way from day 1. They had a plan and they followed it. Steinbach lifts this out to right field, and Carter will play it on a hop. Rounding third is Baines. Here comes the throw. It's cut off, and the A's have their 2nd run of the game. Baines scoring. Terry Steinbach with his 2nd hit. And an RBI, his 5th run driven in the series, and it's a 7-2 ball game. And here's Willie Wilson. Wilson singled and struck out twice against Juan Guzman. 0-1 the count to him. They drew 1,700,000 in their first year at Old Exhibition Stadium. Did the Blue Jays, and they lost 107 games. Dave McKay, the first base coach for the A's, was the starting third baseman in that first game ever.
You mentioned, as you look at McKay coaching first for the A's, you mentioned their plan. And of course, Pat Gillick, for years up here, the Blue Jays general manager, got the nickname Stan Pat, but he never did anything to change the team. But when you look at what they have done and the way they've built their organization, as well as the talent they've traded away, not many more successful without getting to the series.
Wilson got a piece of it, fouls it back 1-2. And of course, he certainly didn't stand pat, did he, in the last 2 years with the big trade with San Diego and the signing of the free agents.
And a great credit to the fans here in Toronto that have come out and enabled them to sign those players.
And they're on their feet now. 1-2 and 2 out to Wilson.
And now, another Coca-Cola Sports Break. Here's Rod Blau.
The Blue Jays 3 outs away from a trip to the World Series. 2 hours from now, Game 7 of the NLCS. The Pittsburgh Pirates tonight will pitch Doug Drabek against the Atlanta Braves' John Smoltz. Both teams are in Atlanta and getting ready.
Well, this year I think you're going to see like a big old bottom fall out of a lot of people's hearts if we don't win, because we had a 3-1 lead. And you know, I think there's a little more pressure this year because we're expected to win. Last year was a no-win, no-lose situation for us. It was fun, but hopefully I can have that same feeling of people jumping on my backs when this game's over.
The one-game shootout, 8 o'clock Eastern, 5 o'clock Pacific tonight.
Your Ford and Mercury dealers believe having a family doesn't mean you can't enjoy a sporty vehicle. Now, for only $16,995, you can get the ideal family vehicle with a sports package featuring front-end spoiler, aluminum wheels, striping, and Aerotech side panels at no extra charge. Plus standard features like a V6, air conditioning, automatic, and more. Introducing the 93 Aerosport. While quantities last, get Aerosport for only $16,995 with a no-charge sports package. 93 Aerosport. Think of it as the family sports car.
Ricky Henderson today probably knows how Eric Lindros felt last night, all the chanting and the taunting. Lindros was in Quebec City last night, the first game in the Colisée since he was traded to the Flyers. He responded with a goal in the third period, his third of the season, then another goal, his second of the night. Lindros had tied the game, but the former Flyers shone even brighter. Mike Ricci had a pair last night as Quebec stays undefeated 6-3 over the Flyers. Tonight, 3 games on tap, the Ottawa Senators to play Hartford, the winless Whalers, the Devils, and the Rangers. And in Winnipeg, the Jets trying to get things together against the Edmonton Oilers.
This is the scene at Sky Dome in Toronto. Game 6, and the Toronto Blue Jays are 3 outs away from their first American League pennant. And they say the first league championship for Canada. Another way, they could become the first team outside the United States to get to a World Series. Carney Lansford has moved into third base, and a significant move for the veteran who meant so much to the team and a great comeback year for them. And this may be his swan song. Bobby Witt, the new pitcher for the A's, making his first appearance in the series. The 5th pitcher of the day for Tony La Russa. And Pat Borders, the batter, in the count 1 ball and no strikes to Borders, who has 2 hits and a sacrifice fly run batted in.
It was players like Carney Lansford, I think, that maybe the term is overused, heart and soul of the ball club, but I don't think any one player has meant more to the attitude of a team than Lansford has meant to Oakland. You talk to visiting managers and you go over that club, and the name that immediately comes up as far as fearing in the clutch or making the big play is that guy.
Dennis Eckersley said you can talk about 100 different reasons why we are where we are. I look at Carney Lansford because he was the leader in the clubhouse for this ball club. He was the one man in a team with a lot of veterans who had the ability and the respect to go up to them when they weren't producing and set them straight. That's the kind of respect he had.
Every team has to have a player like that. Gene Tennis on the Blue Jay bench was a player like that during his playing career. You know, a lot of players won't go up to the superstar and say, hey, you should have run that ball out, or you know, you should have hustled a little more on that play. Guys like Lansford will do that, and that's important on a ball club.
Here's the 3-2 pitch, and Borders is on, draws a walk to start the 8th inning. Here's Gene Tennis, the bench coach for the Blue Jays. Juan Guzman went to the clubhouse and is now back on the dugout because he wants to be there when the celebration begins.
And up and down that dugout, they're not getting too giddy. I mean, they still have to get 3 outs, but they're anticipating who's going to get the ball. I want the ball for that last out.
Line drive, base hit down the left field line. Rounding second is Borders. He'll go to third base. The throw coming into second, and in with a stand-up double is Manny Lee. Blue Jays have not finished their work yet, apparently. Runners are at second and third, nobody out. Manny Lee, who had a big 2-run triple in game 3, has his second extra base hit of the series. Runners are at second and third to Devon White. Infield is in for the A's. First pitch, fastball, 0-1 the count. Ball and a strike to White, who was involved in a scary automobile accident yesterday that totaled the car he was driving, but nobody was hurt.
Won't be long, Dick, when Manager of the Year voting will be talked about. 22 of his players went on the disabled list. Tony La Russa, a candidate along with Phil Garner. Many think this is Tony's best job in handling a ball club, but to his credit, to Tony's, he said there's a guy, Cito Gaston, that never has been Manager of the Year, never gets any credit. And he said one of these days, finally, when this Blue Jay team wins with different players every year, they're going to realize what a job this guy has done.
Cito said, we asked him, did you ever come close to Manager of the Year? He says 4th. I think the highest I've ever been is 4th place.
Getting on the phone right there, calling out there, saying, tell these people to tone it down a little bit. Let's wait till the right time comes.
Was that the bullpen phone, or was that another phone he used? But you know, La Russa does deserve a lot of credit for what he has done. And when you consider that he never got to play his starting outfield when the season began, of Ricky Henderson in left, Dave Henderson in center, and Jose Canseco, they never played one game together all year.
It's where the Jerry Browns and Eric Foxes came into play, and early in the year, guy we haven't seen in this series, contributed, Randy Ray.
He's got to be proud of this season. 1-1 the count. 7-2 the Blue Jays lead in the bottom of the 8th inning. Fouls back the fastball, 1-2. Largest attendance in Major League history, over 4 million today. And this season in Toronto, more than 50,000 today. And Jack Morris, who would have gotten the call in Game 7, will get the call in Game 1. And a loop Harper into right field. Coming on in is Sierra, makes the catch, tagging up his borders. He'll score, and it's now 8-2 in favor of Toronto. Holding at second base was Lee, and there's one away in the bottom of the 8th inning. The last time the city of Toronto celebrated a professional baseball championship was in 1966, when the Maple Leafs won the International League title. It was called the Governor's Cup. They had baseball before the Jays here.
Sparky Anderson was a part of that team, I think.
Roberto Alomar fouls it out of play for a strike. David Cone, who won a big game in Game 2 after Jack Morris was beaten in the opening game of the series. A lot of pressure on him in the second game here at Skydome. 0-1 to Alomar. He has 2 hits today. Of course, the Toronto Argonauts of the CFL won the Grey Cup last year. They got to go back a ways when their faithful Toronto Maple Leafs won a Stanley Cup title. That was back in '67. We're talking world championships, and Blue Jays just want to win an American League championship here. Here's the 0-2 pitch. It's low, and the crowd is chanting MVP for Roberto Alomar.
I think they got some inside information. Pretty good choice.
He would be the youngest player ever to win an MVP in the American League Championship Series. Two balls and 2 strikes. If you're wondering who the youngest ever, Steve Avery of the Braves last year. One out. Manny Lee is at second base. Run in for the Jays. They lead 8-2. They've out-hit the Athletics 12-7. The 2-2 to Alomar. And he lines it down the left field line. It's a base hit. They're going to wave in Lee, and he's going to score as the ball gets by the infield. It's now 9-2. And Roberto Alomar, with 3 hits today and 11 in the series, has tied an ALCS record with his 11th hit. Boy, the Blue Jays are finishing this out with a flourish, aren't they? Here is Joe Carter, who started it off with a 2-run home run in the first inning. Ball 1.
And when you talk about Robbie Alomar, we've had words from some National League scouts. The problem he poses, no matter what kind of pitching you come in. We've seen him primarily from the left side of the plate. He's an improved hitter from the right side also.
Now you can add Roberto Alomar's name with Harold Baines.
I think you can add it to that list of ALCS MVPs also.
Witt's 1-1 pitch to Carter, way in front of that one, and it's a ball and 2 strikes. 51,335 on hand. But years from now, probably a couple of million will claim they were here.
I was there. Yeah. I was there that day. Robbie Alomar got 3 hits. Joe Carter hit a long ball.
Fly ball to center field. Willie Wilson. And that's the second out. In the bottom of the 9th inning, it'll be Willie Wilson, Walt Weiss, and Lance Blankenship, who remained in the game. Bordick went out for the A's. And here is Dave Winfield. What a moment this must be. Top of the 9th coming up next. Strike one to Winfield. We're in the bottom of the 8th inning, and it's 9-2 in favor of the Blue Jays. 41-year-old Dave Winfield. Headed for his first World Series in 11 years. And we all know of Winfield's problems in New York. The battles with George Steinbrenner, and he has readily admitted that I can't forget that they tried to end my career and ruin my reputation, but they did not succeed. Drive hit deep to left field, hooking foul.
Yeah, the best guy came out ahead in that duel, no doubt. Because even though as a competitor he was a hitter you wanted to dislike as a pitcher, the more you see him play and perform and get to know him, the more you appreciate what a terrific person as well as player he has been and is.
Here's the 1-2 to Winfield. 2 balls and 2 strikes. This crowd has been on a high. They have been excited since the middle of this game and venting their excitement after too many years of frustration, trying to get over the hump and get into the World Series. Winfield strikes out, and that'll do it. 2 more runs cross the plate when we go to the top of the 9th inning. 3 more outs, and the Blue Jays are in.
This is an ordinary fiber laxative. It's full of grit. This is Sunrise Smooth Metamucil. The grit is gone because it's triple ground for smoothness. Unlike ordinary fiber, Sunrise Smooth mixes easily and stays mixed without the grit. It's the easiest mixing, smoothest tasting, natural source fiber to relieve constipation. New Sunrise Smooth Metamucil for regularity. The grit is gone.
The cough's getting worse. I've got something.
I'm calling a doctor.
Almost as fast as you can call your pediatrician, new Pediatric Formula 44 starts to work. So fast, so effective. Its advanced throat coating action starts to work within 5 minutes.
Thanks, doctor. He said to give her
Ask your pediatrician which formula is best for your child. New Pediatric Formula 44, when you can't get fast relief fast enough.
Fergie Oliver here for Blue Jays Baseball and the Blue Jays Special from Pizza Hut. Call Pizza Hut right now and order the Blue Jays Special. It's a Major League offer. You get 2 12-inch medium pizzas with any 2 toppings, a 2-liter bottle of Pepsi or Diet Pepsi. Delivery, taxes, deposit, all included, just $19.99. What a steal! But hurry and catch it or you're out. Enjoy tonight's game with the Blue Jays Special from Pizza Hut.
Pizza Hut and nothing but.
Labatt presents the ALCS on CTV. Sponsored by Labatt Blue. Honest and true, you bet it's blue. By Imperial Oil and Esso Associates. You're on your way with Esso. And by your local bottler of Coca-Cola Classic, the official soft drink of Major League Baseball.
To 2, the Blue Jays lead going to the top of the 9th inning, and Tom Henke, who has picked up saves in the first 3 Toronto victories. Native of Kansas City, now he lives in Jefferson City, Missouri. Had 34 saves during the regular year. So it's the same 1-2 punch, Ward and Henke, finishing it off for the Blue Jays, and it'll be the bottom third of the order. Weiss, Randy Reddy is on deck, and he'll be pinch hitting. Ball 1 inside. Jim mentioned Sparky Anderson is a former Toronto Maple Leaf manager of the International League. Dick Williams, Charlie Dressen, former Dodger skipper. Weiss swings and misses 1 and 2. Two. 3 balls and 2 strikes. Here's Henke's 3-2. And Weiss fouls it off on the 5th. Many major league players have come up through Toronto and AAA to get to the big leagues. Elston Howard, great Yankee catcher. Joey Foy played third with the Red Sox. And Rocky Nelson, who was the first baseman with the Pirates in 1960. Weiss draws a walk to start the 9th inning against Henke. Tony La Russa can be very proud of his ball club. With so many injuries, mixing and matching all year, the role players. Randy Reddy is going to bat for Lance Blankenship. Randy Reddy is one of those who filled in admirably this year. And Jamie Quirk is on deck for the A's. Runner at first. First pitch, a slider for a strike. Randy Reddy was signed as a free agent in January. Played second, third, left field, even first base this year. Goes after a pitch outside the strike zone, and it's 0-2. Strikes out, and there's 1 down in the ninth. One out and 1 on. And Ricky Henderson takes a seat, and Jamie Quirk is going to bat for him. Jamie Quirk began his major league career back in 1975. Takes ball 1. Played most of his career with the Kansas City Royals. Randy Reddy and Jamie Quirk were the only 2 A's who had not been in a series until now. Carney Lansford is on deck. 1 out. Weiss the base runner. Quirk fouls it back. 9-2 in favor of the Toronto Blue Jays. Ron Darling would have been the 7th game pitcher had the A's won today. Two and 1 to Quirk. When this series began, they talked about 2 strong bullpens, the A's and the Blue Jays. Mostly Eckersley, but the depth for the Toronto Blue Jays in the pen, Ward and Henke, and they've lived up to it in the latter stages of this series. And the count is even 2-2. An MVP series for Roberto Alomar. We'll see if he gets the award. tipped off of Border's mask, and Jamie Quirk stays alive. A's won the first game of the series here at Sky Dome, and people started to question again Toronto's ability to win the big series. But winning 2 out of 3 in Oakland kind of settled that question. They didn't want to see this go 7. 2 balls and 2 strikes. And Jamie Quirk gets a piece of it and stays alive. Ruben Sierra, a free agent, got a chance to play in an LCS and a chance to produce, and he did big time. But that's small consolation to Ruben right now. And Bob Welsh, who pitched his heart out in Game 4, giving the A's more than 7 innings of work, and had a big lead that just evaporated. Here's a 3-2 pitch. The runner goes, and the foul ball out of play. Tough day for Ricky after coming alive in the middle of Game 3. They couldn't get him out for a couple of games, but he made that big error in the first inning and couldn't solve Juan Guzman today. Weiss, the runner at first base. 3 balls and 2 strikes, 1 out. In the last gasp for the A. There goes Weiss, and a fly ball to right field. Carter going back, way back, and he makes a great catch. Weiss back to first base, and there are 2 down, and a standing ovation for Joe Carter. Here it is again. Joe Carter had his eye on it from the very start and made a leaping catch on the warning track to rob Quirk of extra bases. But it's been his bat today with a 2-run homer. Here is Carney Lansford with 2 outs. Takes ball 1, and the Blue Jays are 1 out away from that elusive American League pennant. And Canada getting represented in the World Series. 2-0 to Lansford. How ironic that Carney Lansford could be at the plate for his last time, contemplating retirement. Put in the game in the 8th defensively. Fouls it out of play, and it's 2-1. Ready to erupt. They've already gone crazy. Here is the 2-1 pitch, fouled out of play to the right. And when this series started and people said it just may be Toronto's year, it just may be Toronto's year. It's in the dirt, and the count goes full. Tom Henke wanting to close the door. Let's go, he says to home plate umpire Drew Coble. Give me the ball and let me throw it. Blue Jays 1 strike away from a pennant. But it's going to have to wait a bit as Carney Lansford draws a walk. Walt Weiss goes to second with 2 out, and Ruben Sierra coming to the plate. Want to remind you that Game 7 of the National League Series tonight Our coverage begins at 8 o'clock Eastern. Doug Drabeck against John Smoltz. Look at their records. But the Pirates, who were trailing 3-1, have battled back to send the series into a deciding game in Atlanta. Lansford is at first, Weiss at second. One and 0 the count. Hinkie now talking to himself out on the mound. High fly ball toward the line and left. Calling for it is Maldonado, and the Blue Jays have finally won the pennant. The weight is finally off of their shoulders, the Toronto Blue Jays. They finally get over the hump on their 4th try. And Canada will be represented in the 1992 World Series. And they're going to be represented by one terrific ball club. 9-2 the final score. Guzman the winner. Moore lost it. Homers by Carter and Maldonado. And Alomar, who was great throughout. Played a terrific series. This is the reaction by the dugout on the last out. And we'll be back with more from Skydome in just a moment.
Did you know that the Charlottetown Agreement proposes to make Canada's Parliament more effective, which is why the existing Senate would be replaced by an elected, equal, and effective chamber, thereby recognizing the equality of all the provinces. Seats would be added to the House of Commons to better reflect representation by population. These are key points in the agreement. It's for you to judge. For more information, please call 1-800-561-1188.
Hi! Right now, McDonald's, we're celebrating a birthday. Our birthday. We're turning 25. Well, I'm not turning 25. I'm only 17. And to celebrate, we'll be serving our hamburgers for just 25 cents with the purchase of a drink. So this Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, come to McDonald's because we'd love to see you and serve you a hamburger for $0.25. After all, McDonald's doesn't have a 25th birthday every day, and I don't have one for another 8 years.
Have you ever thought about wearing shoes?
You've always got time. You've always got time.
Tim Hortons muffins, baked fresh every day.
You've always got time for Tim Hortons.
Now with the coffee, just $1.49.
They are going wild, and they are so proud here at Sky Dome. And right now, let's go down to my partner, Jim Cott. Jim?
All right, thank you, Dick. It gives me great pleasure to introduce Matt Murphy, the area marketing director of Chevrolet, who has the wonderful task of presenting the most valuable player award in the American League Championship Series. Matt?
Robbie, congratulations on a great game today and just a great series. You've got to be proud. On behalf of Chevrolet, it gives me great pleasure to be able to present to you this year's most valuable player trophy for your outstanding play in the series. Now, Robbie, in addition to the trophy, Chevrolet will donate a 1993 Astrovan to your favorite charity. So on behalf of all of us in Chevrolet, congratulations. Best of luck in the World Series.
Thank you, thank you. I feel...
All right, no surprise. Robbie Alomar, the most valuable player of the 1992 American League Championship Series. Robbie, you've been in Toronto a couple of years. You've heard all about the Blue Jays waiting to get there. Your feelings right now about this ball club?
I feel real happy about it. You know, everybody say that the Toronto Blue Jays always choked in the end. And this time we didn't choke. We went all the way, and we demonstrated to people that we can play this game. And here I am. They won a World Series, and we gave them one.
I think the hit that turned this series around off the toughest relief pitcher in baseball, Dennis Eckersley. Describe that at bat for us.
Well, I think so. That's my greatest game ever in baseball. I think so. I just went out there to get a hit. I wasn't trying to hit a home run, but he threw me the ball where I can hit it out, and I did.
All right, Robbie Alomar, most valuable player of the 1992 American League Championship Series. I want to bring in the American League president, Bobby Brown, who has the privilege of presenting the American League Championship trophy to Paul Beeston and Pat Gillick of the Toronto Blue Jays, a moment that these two men have waited for a long time. Dr. Brown.
Paul, Pat, you both paid your dues. It's been long in coming, but it's a great win for a great organization. Good luck in the series. Thank you.
Thank you, Doctor. This we accept really on behalf of the entire organization, our owners, the players, obviously, Cito and the manager and the coaches, and I guess most importantly, the fans, the scouts, and the development people. It's an organizational win, and hopefully we can go on from here.
Paul Beeston, president of the Blue Jays, congratulations. And Pat Gillick, I mean, Pat, you never make a deal or anything that helps a ball club, right? All you did was bring in Jack Morris and Dave Winfield. And Pat, if there is anyone more deserving in baseball, I don't know who it is. Congratulations, a great moment for you.
Thanks, Jim. And I just I want to say and appreciate again what Paul echoed, the ownership of this club, our scouts, our development people. That's what it's all about. That's what it's been about since day one. And I can't impress on everyone how stable our ownership has been and how much they've been behind us. And it's been a great boost. And again, we're very appreciative of this trophy.
Pat Gillick, congratulations. A moment that Toronto fans and the organization has waited for a long time. We'll be back in the Blue Jay clubhouse after a moment. Let's go back upstairs to Dick Stockton.
All right, Jim, and of course everyone will remember the fourth game and that big comeback. Jays are the champions. CBS Evening News with Dan Rather will be on following baseball in many of our CBS stations. And we'll be back with more of the post-game celebration from Sky Dome in just a moment.
Did you know that while economic barriers between countries are falling, trade restrictions within Canada still exist? That's why the Charlottetown Agreement proposes that the free movement of persons, goods, and services be written into the Constitution as an objective for all governments in Canada. This is a key point in the agreement. It's for you to judge. For more information, please call 1-800-561-1188.
Any major purchase involves a leap of faith. Buy a Nissan and it doesn't have to. You're protected by the Nissan Satisfaction Commitment. The most comprehensive customer care program in Canada. It comes at no extra cost and has no deductibles. Because at Nissan, we believe warranties should protect the people who drive the cars, not the people who make them. Nissan, built for the human race.
Frings for a penny? Get out of town.
Like half is,
Frings are back.
And they're only a penny extra when you order either of Harvey's all-time favorite sandwich specials.
The Texan with real barbecue flavor, or the one and only Chicken Geneva.
They're like... In French, we call them fidèles.
Penny frames, only at Harvey's.
No decision required.
Beautiful choice, beautiful value.
They're like I like them.
Each year, more and more mothers get a special kind of medical training.
Next, please.
They're learning from doctors and pharmacists that the way to take care of a cough due to a cold is with Robitussin DM. Now at home, they're putting the advice to work.
Next, please.
Robitussin DM, a new Robitussin Pediatric. Available at your pharmacy and recommended by Dr. Mom.
Blue Jays have beaten the Oakland A's 9-2 to win the American League Championship Series 4-2. Right now, let's go down to Jim Cott. Jim?
A couple of members of the Blue Jays that contributed all year in addition to today, Dave Winfield and Joe Carter with the big home run holding the American League trophy. But the guy I want to talk to, very deserving, Cito Gaston. First of all, you can't pitch guys on 3 days rest. They don't produce under those conditions. You told me you might not be able to speak in a situation like this. Your feelings right now?
Well, I think I can say a couple of words. Just thank God that everything worked out the way it did. And Juan went out and did a heck of a job for us today, along with Joe Carter and the rest of this team. As I said early in the year, opening day, these guys have been focused to get to the World Series, and they've been that way all year. I'm just proud of all of them.
All right, Cito Gaston, manager of the Blue Jays, very deserving to enjoy this moment along with two of his stars, Dave Winfield and Joe Carter. A happy Toronto clubhouse. Let's go back upstairs to my partner, Dick Stockton.
And I can see the emotion on Cito Gaston's face, partner. Want to remind you, CBS Evening News with Dan Rather will be on following baseball on many of our CBS stations after this word and a message from your local station.
This is what you want us to see. What about what you want to hide?
Canadians are the best lovers.
What my family and I are aiming to do is changing the world. Because why should women be the ones to take this issue on?
Straight talk, sensible issues.
And I feel that a politician should talk to the people.
Drama and sadness and heights. Would you go out as a man or as a woman? Personally, I think we're going to win.
Shirley, weekdays on CTV.
Get ready for the big surprise.
I want to find Beverly Hills. Can you give me directions?
Price just went up to 10.
And the players go home.
If it's big, it's on CTV.
The kinder, gentler bouncer. Get out of line, you get kicked out. But oh, with such charm and grace.
Tonight on CTV News, making your world make sense.
Germaine Greer has been making people think, has been making some people crazy for years. She's written a new book called The Change, and she'll be here in the morning.
Tomorrow on CTV's Canada AM.
All right, everyone, welcome back to the Sky Dome. CTV Sports along with you now in the post-game celebration. A lot of fans still here. They don't want to leave tonight. They want the party to last. Of course, the World Series begins on Saturday. The Blue Jays, after years of perhaps playoff failures, 85, 89, 91, they're going to the dance now because of Juan Guzman today, because of Candy Maldonado, and they beat the Oakland A's to win the American League Championship Series. Here is the final out.
High fly ball toward the line and left. Calling for it is Maldonado, and the Blue Jays have finally won the pennant.
the celebration going on here in Toronto in the Sky Dome. The World Series begins Saturday. Will it be in Atlanta? Will it be in Pittsburgh? One thing for certain, it will feature the Toronto Blue Jays. Let's go downstairs now, catch up with some of the celebration and join Sunil Joshi.
And joining me now is David Cohn. David, first of all, what's going through your mind at this point?
Well, it's an unbelievable feeling. You know, when some of the coaches, some of the players come up to you and you've only been here 2 months and they tell you that you couldn't have made it here without you, it just makes me feel so much more a part of this team.
You were brought in here for this specific reason, to get this team to the World Series. You pitched 2 games. You had a terrific game once. The second time you didn't seem to have the control. But going into the World Series now, as you're thinking ahead, you know the National League opposition a lot better than some of these guys, obviously.
Well, yeah, and they know me also. So it's once again, I don't think there's an advantage either way. But I'm just so happy to be in this position right now. I never thought I'd be here 2 months ago.
Tell me about your teammates and what kind of a group has this been for you?
Oh, they're just a great group of guys. When you have leaders like Dave Winfield and Rance Mullenix and on down the line, Jack Morris, and a great youth, and Robbie Alomar and John Olerud, it makes for a great balance. And this team's going to go, definitely.
Well, congratulations on this World Series, and probably a ring for you.
Well, that'd be nice. That'd be real nice.
Okay, congratulations, David. Let's go back upstairs to Rod.
All right, thank you, Sunil. You know, the word around Toronto for such a long time regarding the Blue Jays was a C word that rhymed with bloke, but now the C word is champions, pennant winners, American League champions for 1992, beating the Oakland Athletics. And again, we will have Game 7 of the National League Championship Series tonight here on CTV. Pittsburgh Pirates and the Atlanta Braves tied at 3 games apiece. It's Doug Drabek against John Smoltz. We will find out by the end of the day who the Blue Jays will play Saturday night and where they will play. It has been an interesting year for the Toronto Blue Jays, acquiring Dave Winfield, acquiring Jack Morris. They got the win they needed. They got the wins they needed. And most of all, Robbie Alomar, who came through in the clutch in the playoffs, an MVP-type series for Robbie Alomar, winning the Most Valuable Player award. Also a great series from John Olerud and Candy Maldonado, the Candyman, igniting the fireworks today as well. So the Blue Jays are on their way to the dance, the World Series. And now we can take a quick musical peek at how they got there. And the year that was, 1992, mission accomplished so far for the Toronto Blue Jays as they go on to the show. Yep, the Blue Jays are going to the World Series, the first time ever that a Canadian team has gotten that far. And who will they play? We will find out. And I guess only about an hour's time, about an hour and 15 minutes from now, it will be Game 7 of the National League Championship Series. Drabek against Smoltz, the Braves against the Pirates, and then the World Series beginning Saturday here on CTV, featuring the Toronto Blue Jays. So long, everyone.